All right, that should be us up and going. How are we all doing on this fine Friday? Woo! 3 p.m. on a Friday is the best time. It depends where you are. 8 p.m. on a Friday, which conflicts with a meeting that I was meant to have. I was meant to be recording a video with someone at this time because we both managed to completely fail to. I need to put a blanket over this chair, otherwise the green screen's going to pick it up. Uh, we both accidentally completely failed to notice that the time that we'd booked the meeting for hadn't translated correctly. So they were Australian, or they are Australian, and their booking link, for some reason, was in Eastern Standard Time, which is not Australia and it's not England. So we missed on that one. Good evening indeed. Hope we're all doing well. Remember to like and subscribe. Appreciate. Boris got the first like in. Love to see that. Let me just change things here. Filters. We can go a bit more aggressive on the green screen here. Get rid of that in the background. Oh, maybe not that aggressive. Need a better lighting solution. But I live in a fucking cupboard. There's just no real room to do anything meaningful. So I'll move this as well. Put this light source back here. And that should help. So that'll do. That will do. Hope things are okay. Things are going pretty well, thank you. It's been mad busy. It's been about I can't remember. It's 3 or 4 weeks of basically every day having 4 coaching sessions, which is great. And that was partially because in January it was super quiet, obviously, because nobody cared. It was before the FAQ. Then in February, people are like, "Oh, I'm now interested in talking about the game." And also I had some backlog in there, and I had some more people signing up, which was fantastic. And then March, we've got some keen beans at the beginning of the month that want to get their sessions in, which is great. Cody's ready for the weekend. Yeah, me too, actually. I'm looking forward to the weekend. My family is going to be up in the northeast, so I'm going to go northeast, in the Midlands, sorry. Traveling down from the northeast, so I'm going to go spend a chunk of the weekend with them, which will be nice. Hope for more Forward Elves from the FAQ. Yes, but also they're like the only faction that got anything. So it's like, on the one hand, yes, they absolutely did need more, but then on the other hand, it's like, well, a lot of other factions needed more as well. Hey, good to have you, Calamity. Good to have you. Oh, bit of a slower start on this one by the looks of things. That's okay. It is a Friday after all. Got some fun lists in here, I think. 2 people who've put Tomb King Chariot Death Star lists in, which I think is fun. Because that is one of the lists that's on my short list to play. You know, obviously I've been talking about what to do. I'm thinking I might go Chaos Dwarves next. I'm really keen to play some Chaos Dwarves. Evening, Goldfire. Evening, Richard. Evening, Matthew. Can you briefly explain why you think Renegades Skaven have been doing so well on Old World rankings for the past 30 days? Have they? Have they? That's news to me. Tell you what, let's start with that. I'll be honest, I really like Old World Builder, and I'm actually going to be talking to Gomo because he's done some updates recently. But I don't check it religiously or anything like that. I'm in a lucky position where if something interesting happens, people will tell me and be like, "Oh, you should look at this," like you are doing now. So appreciate that. Alrighty then. Let's just pull it up here. And let's go with Old World Builder. No, Old World Rankings. There was an update to Old World Builder as well, so now it goes with whatever your system setting are. So if you have light mode, or if you have dark mode on, then it automatically detects that and puts it in, which I'm a fan of. So it gave me the shits when I first wrote a list a few days ago on my PC. It changed completely. I've manually changed it back for this stream because the yellow just shows up a lot better on this. Alrighty then. Well, let's have a look. Boom. Visual update messed you up, I was concerned. Yeah, like for half a second I was like, what is going on here? This is new. Look at this. There's new buttons. New buttons. Battle Builder. I believe this is going to be linked with Old World Builder, or there's going to be something along those lines. So this will be something to. I think this is an Old World Builder import. You know what? Let's just see if it works. It is an Old World Builder import. Okay, cool. Well, there we go. That's something that we can. Well, like I say, I'll be talking to Gomo sooner rather than later. Should have been talking to him right now, but at another time, we'll be doing so. Everything is paywalled. Oh, is it? Let's have a look. So, factions. I guess, what are we looking at? Army list here? Oh, faction stats, I guess. Last 30 days, let's have a look. We're looking for Skaven. You're saying that Skaven are doing super well. Are they? What if we... Oh, we've got online included on there as well. Filter it down. Skaven... Are we looking for Renegade Skaven? Is that a different filter? %35.3%. You have to include Renegades. Is that... Oh, is that... Ah, there we go. Let's have a look at Renegades only then. Renegade Skaven. 47.8% win rate. 92 games. Wow. Over 30 days. Okay, so that's 22 events. Or 22 players. I guess. I think that's right. Interesting. If we... Okay, they've all got 10 plus. Yeah. I like how doing well is still a sub 50% win rate. That's pretty funny. That is pretty funny. So, out of the Renegades, though, the second of the win rates. I mean, apparently Lisbon are actively okay. Maybe we should look at some lists if they're available. Are they available, or is that going to be something? I see. I see. So can I filter to? What can I do? Filter to Skaven. Can I still look at the lists? Okay. But then they just make it so that if you want to go more granular. This is sorted by recent, isn't it? Okay. I mean, I haven't looked at this, and I will be talking to Gomo about what he's doing with his website. But it doesn't look too egregious for now. Anyway, that's not why we're here. That is not why we're here. So let's go back to the Fix My List screen. Cool, cool, cool. Hope I liked your Beastmen featuring Chaos Ogres list. I don't know if we got down to there, I'm afraid. As always, having the very lovely problem, which I still do feel a bit guilty about every time, of having more people submitting lists than I have space to rate. Why we're here. Yeah, for this. For this. Alright. But yeah. No, I think there's some interesting lists in this one. Should be good. How are we doing? 33. If you are here and you haven't already, please do give the stream a thumbs up, because it helps get picked up by the algorithm. Spooky noise. Although, actually, there's a pretty good hit rate of you lot already clicking the button. Appreciate you. Thanks. Not even making me do my job. Good to have you here, as always. If this is the first time, because I feel like every time, this is the first time someone's watching the stream, because I get a lot of questions about this. The way that it works is there is a Discord link down below. You don't have to pay to join the Discord. It's free. Most, like 90% of it is completely open. There's a Fix My List channel. I open it at around 9 or 10. Yeah, realistically, it's going to be about 10 a.m. GMT. And you can submit your lists. There's a priority system explaining how the lists are picked, but basically it boils down to, it goes in, whoever submitted their list first. Priority is given to people who are channel members, and priority is also given to people whose lists weren't looked at in the last stream. So that gives a opportunity for people who, I don't want it to just be the same people getting their list looked at on a week out, week in basis, but then also as a thank you for the people who support me. All right, buy me a drink first. I'm not a big drinker of alcohol, so I'll take some of these iced coffees. I really do need that to get this massive multinational corporation to sponsor me, a small niche Warhammer YouTuber. I'm sure that would work, but I fucking love these iced coffees. Anyway, yes, if you would like to support the channel, being here is great support, and I appreciate you watching my stuff. Muchos apreciado. If you'd like to support more, you can become a channel member. If you become a Longbeard tier above, it gives you access to the VIP sections on Discord. And if you're any level of channel member, you do get priority on the Fix My List streams as well. Boom. Your wife drinks the lattes, those lattes non-stop. She's angry about the milk tax. There's a milk tax? What milk tax are we talking about? One of the things about having a country as old as ours is that there's loads of just weird rules that you don't know about. Okay. So the soft drink sugar tax is going to include prepackaged milk drinks with added sugar from 2028. Yeah, okay, sure. So one of the things that I can't say that I know a huge amount about how other governments do things, but it's the classic, if your government wants you to dissuade you from drinking unhealthy things, then they add a tax to it. So we have like a soft drink tax and a sugar tax, or just I think it's a sugar tax to make it so that things cost more. But that means that a lot of the stuff we have here compared to the US, for example, has a lot lower sugar, but has much higher sweeteners. So the one that I drink, it's called Skinny. I think it just means that this is the one with no added sugar and loads of sweeteners in, as opposed to the regular. There. If you look on the percentage recommendations on everything, it's really not that bad, which is good because I'm doing my best to eat better and be more active and all of those good things that everyone tries to do. They say they're going to do in January for New Year's, but we're in March now, and I'm continuing to try and do well for myself. But yeah, the worst thing on here is the sugars, which is 17% of your recommended daily intake, which, for a big drink, not too shabby. I can live with that. How much is the tax on cigarettes? Huge. Loads of tax on cigarettes. Same on alcohol. It's the classic, like, if you want to dissuade your populace from doing unhealthy things, then you make them cost more. It's a twofold, where you dissuade them because things are more expensive, but then also because it's being taxed, that money then goes back into the system. So I think it's as a system, it makes a lot of sense. But I am in no way an expert, so I'm sure there's downsides to it that I just haven't seen. And yeah, is it legal in the UK to not add milk to your tea? This is an interesting one. I don't know why people get so pressed about how people have their tea. And I'm not immune to it, because I will say stuff like, the only real cup of tea is Yorkshire tea. I'm not a big fan of other tea, and there's a level of derision to be had. But it's just like, tea is like religion, really, in that we'll protolize about it, and nobody really cares. And you've got your own version of it that's usually what you were born into. So the first, like, however you grew up drinking tea. So if if your parents made you tea, I don't know. I didn't drink tea growing up, so I started drinking on a building site. So I like my tea the way I drank it on the building site, but I assume a lot of people have it running in the family. So yeah, people are weird about tea. The other secret is I can take or leave tea. It's fine. Like, it's nice. I used to drink it a lot at work when I worked in an office. I drink it a lot at the events where Lewis will bring it for me. I'll never drink it at home. I just never go up my way to make it. It's just faff. Then I've got a mug on my desk and I've got to go do something with it. And I'd like water enough now that, especially now I've got a water filter. Milk first or milk last? Milk last, obviously. You don't want to put cold milk onto the tea bag before you put the hot water in it to steep the tea. Like, this isn't even milk's, tea snobbiness. I assume that just actually make for a worse cup of tea. Because cold liquid doesn't steep tea anywhere near as quickly. You can do like a long cold brew with tea bags. You'd probably do it less with actual tea and more with like herbal teas, but it takes a lot longer to get the flavour out of it. Cereal first or milk? Cereal first, 100%. But also you got to eat your cereal fast while it's still crunchy. You like PG tips? You see, that shouldn't be a controversial statement. And yet, I feel like you're an enemy for life, Cody. Yeah. Good old tribalism. All right. Hot take, all the tea tastes the same. That's not true. That's not true at all. I will admit that tea is not the strongest drink. And I think that's why I'm not mad about it. I love coffee. I could drink lattes on tap, and I drink a lot of decaf coffee now. But, today, when I went out for my walk, I went and got a decaf latte at the nice coffee shop round the corner from me. I'd happily do that every day, or twice a day, but, it's expensive to go out and buy a coffee. I know you can buy coffee machines, but it's not the same. Even though I used to literally run a coffee shop, and I can make my own good quality coffee, getting it from a coffee shop just hits different. Processed energy drinks are the only way to consume caffeine. Bob Moss, I hope that your heart health remains stable, which is not a threat. I used to drink energy drinks as a mixer. Back in like first year of uni, I'd buy like a bottle of knockoff Jägermeister, and then I would bought, what was it? So a bottle of knockoff Jägermeister and then a bottle of Boost. That was it, and that would be what I'd drink. I'd drink like half of each of those for pre-drinks. Until I started getting the palps. I think it's the taurine that causes me issues, because I can have quite a lot of caffeine and not worry, but if I have one energy drink, I get real tightness of chest. Yorkshire tea not too bad too. Martin, you're alright, you're allowed to stay. Ooh, okay. Milk first only applies to the poshest of the posh with a very thin-poned china cups where you risk cracking the cup if you pour boiling water in. The milk tempers the temperature. See, I have no idea if that's true. There are no sources available in YouTube chat. Like, I can't ask you to cite it. That sounds super reasonable, so I'm just going to believe it. Coffee with 3 shots of espresso into water and energy drinks all day. I like getting enough sleep. That's been the correlation of being able to sleep more now that I don't have to spend 2 hours a day commuting. And how much caffeine I feel like I need. This, it's very, very obviously. Yeah. Barry's tea is good too. You know what? I will not disparage Barry's tea. I haven't tried it, and I know that is the drink of an entire nation. So they're probably onto something. I need to try it at some point. Is it a fix my diet stream? Yeah, that's it. That's it. Fix my tea. Black coffee, black tea, no sugar, no milk, proper good. Do you say when someone asks you if you want sugar, do you go, no thanks, I'm sweet enough? It's legally you're required to say it. A tier list stream, very good. Very good. Less tea, more Warhammer. Alright, yep, nope, that's fair, Matthew. Thank you for... 15 to 20 minutes is normally about the time when we lock back in and we start talking about some Warhammer. Yeah. Mm. Okay. Okay. Oi, don't knock our love for tea, even though I don't massively love it. It's an aggressively fine drink. Also, we're not great with emotion, especially, you know, with people who aren't super close to you. It's so much easier when someone's sad to say, "Can I make you a tea?" or "Would you like a tea?" than it is to make them feel actually better. So yeah, there you go. There's the real trick. These are great. Make aggressively fine merch. Yeah. I need to start putting the website together that I want to launch. I've I've sketched out a lot of the stuff that I want to do, and I want to launch it on ideally April 2nd. Don't hold me to that, because if something goes wrong, that will suck. But ideally, I want to launch it on April 2nd. I would do it April 1st, because that's the first day of the financial year. But if I put it out on April 1st, people, a percentage of people are just going to assume that it's an April Fool's joke. Not a very funny one, but just some sort of April Fool's joke. Okay. Where do we want to start? Just in time for Easter. Yeah, I could sell eggs. That would be the way to do things. Okay. Let's have a look at the royal host list from Richard. Now, this is one that Richard I've been doing some coaching with, and Richard sent me the list directly and said, just put it on stream. I wanna spend some time looking at this." So, this is. Oh yeah, you did say there's a cavalry cohort. You put no context in the chat for this one, but let's have a look here. So it is Royal Host, which means you can't have level 3 or 4 wizards. So you've got 2 level 2s, both Elementalists and both Skeletal Steeds. One with a Scarab Brooch. Scarab Brooch is increase the range of the bringing stuff in, right? From beneath the sands, yeah. Okay. What have you got? 2 Tomb Scorpions? That's fine. I guess I'm not, like, super in love with that. But I guess it's fine into, like, specifically undead. It doesn't need context. You just want Curse Blades and the movement. Fuck everything else. Alright. So, we've got a Tomb King. This is your general. You've given them the level 1 wizard with a rise. I do think it's interesting that they can't take the spells, the undead spells, what they call Law of Nakara, they can't take because they just don't get that rule. Feels like a real oversight. Weapon-wise, Conqueror's Blade. Great weapon. Killing blow on a 5 or a 6. And you get an additional 100 points for... Okay, this is fine. This is fine. I almost wonder if it would be better to just go Cackling Blade. But maybe the Royal Heralds should pick up the Cackling Blade, honestly. So you've got Royal Mantle as well, and I actually can't remember what Royal Mantle does. +1 to your armor save, and it increases your My Will Be Done to a 6-inch bubble. Is that worth doing? I don't think so, because realistically, you're going to go Tomb God Chariots and the Cavalry Cohort. You're going to hit both of those. But I don't know that hitting a second unit is that valuable. I know defensively you can pass all of your hits off to one of these here. Although you have gone double... What is the point of this Royal Herald? You've given it Icon of Fortitude, so it's immune to multiple wounds. And you've given it a 4-up save and a 5-up ward. And it's got the 5-up regen as well. But I don't really see the point of the Icon of Fortitude. Don't think extra range and ambush is worth without... Oh, of course, you don't get terror from below on this. Yeah, so it's not even good into undead. Yeah, so we definitely take that off. I wasn't sold on it when I'd forgotten that terror from below was a specifically mortuary cult rule. If it's multi-wound, it goes in the icon, it's tech. Do you need to? Would it not just be better to have 2 chariot Royal Heralds? Because you could just go 2 chariot Royal Heralds. And make the one that goes in the cavalry unit the tankier of the two. And it can technically be shot, but you still just heal 1,000,000 wounds. I feel like the 5 wounds are better than the tech of the Icon of Fortitude, and they're the same points. So I'm just gonna swap that over, Icon of Fortitude. The one that's not the BSB, we're gonna give the one that's not the BSB the Talisman of Protection and the Armor of Meteoric Iron. What else has this thing got? Oh, I could take the Warding Splint off. Let me just do that now. Meteoric Iron, because this is the one that we're going to be putting stuff on. And I know it's going into the unit of cavalry. That doesn't worry me at all. So this feels good. And then this character will make this one the... Got to get rid of the Talisman Protection and the Armor of Meteoric Iron. And we're going to put on the Warding Splint. Okay. Which I think, as well, the thing that we're missing is we're missing magic resist, because what's good in the meta right now? Stuff with great spellcasting. So let's go at minimum magic resist 2. I don't think we're going to be able to get magic resist 3 here super easily. So let's just go with 2 obsidian lodestones. That feels like a good way to do things. You also wanted to buy the new kit. Yeah, that's fair. The unit champion has the... Oh, Spelly Tracks. Okay. Yeah, you did have that in there already. Okay, that's good. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take it off this character, because theoretically the character might soak a challenge. Actually, no, in the unit I think it's fine. Okay, yeah, that's sure. We'll take off the obsidian lodestone here. And then you've got the magical attacks, the Tomb God Chariot. Do I care about that? Not massively. Because you're never getting charged in the front. So I think I'm going to spend the extra 5 points to give it the Obsidian Lodestone, and then we get to keep the halberds. Objectively worse if you come up against Ethereal, but Ethereal shouldn't be charging this unit in the front. And you've got the Tomb King in the unit with the Conqueror's Blade that can move through the ranks and be defensive. The champ can go back with the unit. Yeah, it can do, but in terms of like real world... whether or not it's going to happen. What could happen if you go against like a Shigengan Lord with the Monkey King's Wisdom and Spectral Doppelganger, for example? You declare a challenge with the unit champion because it's still probably going to kill you with just its 4 attacks. They hit you, they kill you, job's a good one. Then it comes around to your next, your combat phase. Anyway, no, it's not. It wouldn't be there. It would be the 3rd combat phase, not the 2nd one. There could be a world where they get to hit you in a way that you don't want to hit. Anyway, we're getting into niche. It's not like huge, but I think I like the lodestones more than that. Anyway, sure. So you've got Icon of Rakaf, you've got the Totem of Wrath as well. Totem of Wrath's really good, and I think I do agree with having them this way round because you really want this unit to not lose its banner. I'm wondering if we go bigger because it is a Death Star. I know you said it wasn't a Death Star, you just want to charge. I still think it's like... because you don't res that much, right? You res flat level, I think. Arise into Chariots is flat level. Yeah, so you're only healing maximum of 4, which I don't love. It's not great. I'd almost be tempted to put one of the incantation scrolls with Scroll of Summoning. It's an extra 2 wounds on average, but then you increase the regen up to a 5 up, gives you a little bit more beef, puts the characters up to a 4 up as well. Maybe something to consider. Or Scroll of Withering, because you're going to struggle to get Plague of Rust off, realistically, especially because you haven't got a Lore Familiar. In fact, why haven't you got a Lore Familiar? One of them wants to go Jaff's Cursed Blades, but I think the other one can go Lore Familiar and Power Scroll, right? That feels pretty good. I don't think you need... like, you don't need the reserve move spell, because both of these units have reserve move. Oh, this unit doesn't have reserve move? Ooh. I think you might have to turn off the... you might have to lose that and just give them the Banner of the Desert Winds. That feels rough. Is this infantry only? It is infantry only. God damn. Oh, I hate this unit. I hate this unit. I know it's got counter charge, but it just doesn't do anything. Like, it's strength 4, AP 1 attacks from the cavalry spears. £280. What I will say is actually, you made me, like, seeing this made me go, is there a world where we just go, like, a skeletal infantry cohort alongside the Tomb Guard aggressive push unit? And I think that's a maybe. I think there's some real, you'll make the unit great. Atistic. Skeleton horses are so bad. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they really, really are. Okay, so we'll get rid of that. So what do we got then? We've got the general in a unit. We've got the double mortuary priests that are following behind. We've got the Royal Herald, and we've got the second Royal Herald. And having these both in a chariot makes sense, because one of them's going to go in the infantry unit, theoretically. Okay. Okay. So then we go for a Tomb Prince on foot. 23 points over? God damn. I was just going to give him a Charmed Shield and a Great Weapon, because you do need something there. Maybe we just make... what am I looking for? Charmed Shield. It's up here somewhere. Yeah. So maybe this character just... we suck it up when you just go for the 2 level 2s. And you hope across them you roll into the good spells. But you're not really planning to cast all that much anyway, so... it's kind of whatever. Like, it'd be nice to have, but it's not the end of the world. Like... Prince, a herald that can flexibly... like, you can put both heralds into the unit of chariots, or you can put it into the infantry unit. So the infantry cohort, you're going, what, like, I don't know, 60 Nicarian flanks, full command. We'll give them the Amulet of the Serpent for the poison shots. We'll give them the Banner of the Desert Winds. And then we just need to shave a lot of points. But, like, I like this a lot more. I feel like this has a lot more play. We got a lot of skirmishes to go in the back line, which I do like. I think it gives you a lot of play. But we're going to have to cut something. One of these could go on foot pretty happily, I think, and just be an illusion wizard and sit in the cohort. I don't hate that. I think the unit's big enough that you don't... like, it's not that you don't care about spells, but you're less worried about Viletire. It's like, oh no, you killed 6 skeleton archers. Ah, terrifying. Oh no, I'm so scared. Me playing versus Beastmen. Go down to 8. You get chariot runners for free, yeah. There's not much point in not having it. We do need to shave 188 points. Hey, Elvenator, thank you for the support. Yeah, thank you for the support. I appreciate it. Me word's so good. Me word's so good. Is there anything here that is like surplus to requirements? I know you've got to have the skeleton chariots. I almost want to just replace the Tomb Guard chariots with regular ones. How many points are they? 49 to 41. So you're saving 8 times 6. 48 plus 41. We'd be saving about 80 points. Like, the Tomb Guard chariots are pretty decent. Can the regular chariots have a standard? Yeah. Yeah. How do you feel about if we replace the Tomb Guard chariots with regular ones? Because, like, most of the damage is going to come from, theoretically, like, the impact hits and then the characters attached anyway, right? Objectively, it would be better if you had them as the Tomb Princes, but you save so many points by doing this that I think it's worth going for. Like, look how many points we now don't have to cut. We only have to cut 60 points, which is a lot easier to do. Yeah. I do think it would be objectively better if you could have the whatchamacallums, though. I guess we just make this unit a little bit smaller. Like, it would be nice. The bigger the unit, the better. But we also do have to be a little bit cutting points if we're going for two squads. I also didn't even think about this weapon. Like, is it Conqueror's Blade? Is that best? I still think Cackling Blade might be better because of the number of attacks. like, how many infantry characters are we really worried about? It's basically just the Black Maul character, right? Plus you get a touch of range pressure. True, true. Halbert's what really sold you on making this. I agree, I think it's good. But, like, if we're just trying to shoehorn both of these in, then I think the regular chariots work better. It's a shame that you can't take Necrosphinxes, because if you could do this, the Tomb Guard chariot brick, and then support it with, like, Dragon Necrosphinx, I think that is very interesting. But that's just hard to do. I feel like the unit, the Tomb Guard unit, is objectively really good, but then the things around it making it very difficult to get there. I've duplicated the Totem of Wrath, have I? Am I a fool? In use by Royal Herald. I am a fool. Thank you. I can recap. There we go. So we're only actually 15 points over, at which point let's drop one of these units here. What is different between these two? Why are they exactly the same but 5 different points? 5 points different. Oh, because you have to pay for ambushes on one of them. So we'll get rid of this unit here like this, and then 3 more. Or 1 more here, and then like 2 more infantry. Something like that. Yeah, like I think this is interesting. Yeah. I think this play here, I'm not sold that this is the final version, but if you wanted to go Royal Host and you wanted to go for double Death Star, where you go one chariot and one other, this is the direction I'd go. I think you can make an interesting list. Yeah, I think you can make a list interesting in the way that you've done it. It's definitely not... Well, okay, I'm not going to say definitely. I'm pretty certain it's not the cavalry cohort. Maybe you go heavier on the Tomb Guard chariots and you go for a bigger unit. You try and back them up with like a dragon or something in characters, and then you go quite heavy on the reserve move, or like not reserve move, the ambushes, like the Tomb Scorpions. You can have up to 4, so I think I would go 4 in that sort of style. So yeah, something like this: King, double Herald. Maybe you don't even bother with double Priest. Maybe you just go with literally 1 for Jaff's Cursed Blades. 1 unit of Tomb Guard chariots, the single skeleton chariot, and then something cheap to hold a home field objective, and then just ambushing stuff there. That would be maybe how I'd tweak it. Yeah. I also don't think it's bad. I think it's an interesting approach. But yeah, that's a fun one. I think this needs to be iterated on. So I'm curious to see it. I'm curious to see it played as well. I wonder if there's a niche for it in teams. The problem is, I think it does what the Tomb Guard brick does, but worse. And you can play the Tomb Guard brick in Grand Army, so you can also bring better wizards. Not having a good amount of res is sort of cringe. Kind of, but like the Tomb Guard aggressive brick playstyle doesn't have that much res either. It just becomes like a pressure list with... Like, it still has some of the advantages of being undead. It just doesn't lean on it in the way that Graveguard do. It's very much like, do you want to play undead and be unstoppable but struggle to get that many points? Okay, go Graveguard. Do you want to play undead and have, there's a chance that you actually just lose the game to attrition, but on the flip side, you can push way harder? Tomb Guard. I think that's an interesting version. All right. Let's have a quick palette cleanser. Let's go with the I've got a Blood Herds Battle March list here, which I think should be fun. So this is Slayer's list. Slayer said nothing. No context for the list. No worries. Okay. It's a Gorbel, which is your hero level character, and it's 750 points. So the absolute maximum you can have at 750 points is what? That's like 190-ish? Oops, I'm a fool. I'm a fool. I can't do maths. 750 divided by 4. 187.5 points. Okay, so Slayer's gone pretty much up to the line. This character will kick ass at 500 points. I think this is very scary. But to play Bloodherd legally, you have to take a Gorbel as your general. It's a requirement. Great weapon, plus shield, plus heavy chaos armor, and a gnarled hide. Okay, so the first thing I would say is Armortide is great, but what you've done is you've combined it with Heavy Chaos Armor, which is 30 points, instead of going for the full plate Chaos Armor. It's actually cheaper just to go for the full plate Chaos Armor for 10 points more, and that gives you an additional +1 to your save instead of the Null Tide. If we take off the shields, that doesn't get us... No, we're still too many points. Okay, so we'll leave the shield on, but we'll take off the Null Tide, and we'll get you that 4 up armor save, or 3 up with the shield, but we're just doing it very slightly more efficiently. Then you've got a big old unit of gore. Damn, that's a big unit of gore. And this is as big as the unit goes, right? Because it's up to... No, it's up to 100... it's up to 35%. Banner of Outrage. Banner of Outrage is cool. I would say it's not the one. It's fun. I love it. I think it adds a lot of consistency to the unit. But there's so many good banners that you could put. Beast Banner for the increased charge range is terrifying. Like, especially at this points level, where people are less likely to be playing fast stuff. Like, who's playing, like, Pegasus Knights and stuff? Or Necrosphinxes. That seems very unlikely. So having a unit that charges or declares a charge up to 14 inches is actually pretty scary. Other than that, maybe even just Banner of Swirling Wind for the -1 to hit. But I would probably go... Maybe we're looking at Beast Banner here, would be my number one approach. The other thing you can do is it Vitriolic Totem? No, it's Totem of Rust. It's expensive, but you can make enemies -1 to your armor save, so you're effectively giving your unit AP1 on all their hand weapon attacks, because you should just go... I think you should just go double hand weapons instead of shields. Makes a big difference. 265. We're slightly over, so if I go down to 258, there we go. And then you've got 2 Minotaurs, 2 Dragon Ogres, and Razor Gore. Okay, cool. Razor Gore's great. I think these are good at any points level, but at lower points level, they're actually pretty scary as a combat piece. The Minotaurs with the Armor of Meteoric Iron. I wouldn't bother with this. So it used to be that you could do shenanigans with Motley Crue for their armor save. I would say just go with, you know, both of them having great weapon. Or even if you wanted to give them both a 5-up save, you could go 1 shield, 1 great weapon, and then you have the Gore Ball in there as well. I think that's a pretty solid way to do things. Saves you some points as well. The Dragon Ogres, great weapon and heavy armor, both fantastic. The Shard Attack's nice, but actually it puts you in a position where you might get challenged out, and you've got a second model in there that doesn't actually do anything at that point. Would I drop the Shard Attack? Because the extra attack is nice, and I'm not worried about that many lone characters. You don't have to care about number of drops, so maybe it's just you go 2 normal models, and if we drop down to here, can we fit in we can't quite fit in another Razor Gore. Because, you know what, I'd be tempted to go actually double Shard Attack and just have them as solo offensive pieces. Like, oh, it's only a single one. Yep, never mind. I forgot you can only have 1. Because it's Bloodherd, and I'll be honest, I don't look at Bloodherd all that often. Okay, so we're not going to get another Razor Gore in there. Are we going to get another Minotaur in there? Be hard to do. I think here we could go for a unit champion. Oh, we turned off the turn that off. Because then you've got the Gore Ball in there as well. Interesting choices. I feel I really want to shave some points to try and get another Razor Gore in. Let's see what that would look like. How many points do we have to drop? 23 points, which is going to be difficult to do. Because we're only 4 points over in core. We could drop the shield here, so that's theoretically 9 points. So 23, we're looking at 14. Could drop the Bloodkine, then we still need to drop 8 points. We could drop the Shard Attack, we could drop 7. So we'd still be 1 point over, which is completely terrible. So I guess we're just not fitting in another Razor Gore. Maybe it's another scoring unit. A cheap unit of Ungor with ambushes. You don't need the ambushes, really. But like something like this would not be terrible. Drop Dragon Ogres down to halberds. Nah, great weapons are so good. like the time that I like halberds is when there's no other option, or you've got good initiative. So I can see it on like an elf, for example, but when your initiative is 2 baseline, just give me that great weapon. More strength, more AP, all of the time, more gooder. I'm really struggling to work out what to put in. I'm also not a fan of this burning blade, although I guess you are worried about ethereal. But then you've got the dragon ogres for ethereal. Like I feel like you're taking the model that could have the best output, and you're nerfing it in a way. So maybe we do that, and then we've still got 27 points to spend, which is hard to do. There's not an easy way to spend 27 points with this list. Because you're capped here, and these are the 2 units with the most flexibility. And then you've got... I don't know. It's really hard to fit anything in. There's no good magic items for 20 points or so that are worth chucking in here. The scimitar's quite nice. I wouldn't put it on the character, but it is quite nice. Miners and core. In Battle March, I don't think it matters. Is it 0 to 1 per 1,000 for the Minotaurs and core? Is that how that works here? Oops, that's the wrong button. It doesn't say. Let's have a quick look at Blood Herd. One Minotaur herd per 1,000 points. Yeah, they're already using their 0 to 1 per 1,000 to put the Dragon Ogres in. Take less scores. Yeah, I think the answer might just be take a smaller unit like this and then take some Ungor as well. That's probably the best thing to do. Just go like, here's a unit of Ungor with short bows, and then go up to like here, and then this unit's going to run away, so giving them a musician or something like that is fine. I'm not fully sold, but I think that's fine. Oh, thank you, Matthew. Apparently the king does get Laura Nakara. I'd have to double check that one. It's been a little while since I've read that specific passage as well. But yeah, let's go with that. The fun thing about Battle March as well is it doesn't need to be super optimized. Like this is bad into like, well, not bad, but this has some issues into magic missiles, but it actually has the pressure. So the Dragon Ogres are nigh immune to magic missiles. The Razor Gore is like tough enough that you can whiff with a fireball. The Minotaur Herd, yeah, it feels decent. Oh, sorry for for causing you the stress there. All right, we've gone for a little list, and now let's go for a bigger list, something that is bigger. Let's have a look at. You know what? Let's go for Elvenator's Wood Elves. And Elvenator says, a random idea, but happy for absolutely anything to change with the list. And I looked at this, and I was like, huh, I recognise a lot of things about this list. So, in core, 2 units of 6 Deepwood Scouts. You can't go for the 3rd unit Deepwood Scouts. It's 0 to 1 per 1,000 in core. So this is slightly illegal. It's not limited in Old World Builder, but it is just limited in general. Then you've got the Wild Riders, which are solid, and you've even given them the shields as well, so you're a much smarter player than I am. You've got the Beast Packs here, so 1 of them each for screening, and then we've got the Classic Dragon, General Great Weapon, Dragon, Meteoric Iron, Talisman Protection, Challenge Challenge Power from Aspect to the Cat and Annoyance and Netlings, and then Magical Attacks from Resplendent Luminescence. So that's great, that's solid. An Oakenstave level 4 Battle Magic caster with Ruby Ring of Ruin. Probably a solid shout. Magic's very good at the moment. Oakenstave is good at stopping it. And then we've got a Glade Captain who's got the Icon of Fortitude, Charm Shield, Aspect to the Bear, Great Weapon. I'm recognizing a lot of the things that are in this list. What I would tweak is, because I think this is fine, and you've gone double Wild Riders, so you got more pressure. I'm still on the fence about whether it's 1 or 2 dragons. Like, these units are nice to have, but are they just better than having a 2nd dragon? It's hard to say. You definitely want slightly more scoring here, so we'll go up to like 40 and give them a unit champion, so if they get charged, they can challenge out, something like that. And then the Glade Riders, you've got 2 units with True Flight arrows. I like having 1 unit with the Banner of Springtide and the Arcane Bodkins. I think that gives you a lot of punch, because then you've got, you're still quick-shotting. You don't ignore cover, but that's fine. Just choose your targets a little bit better. And the things in cover are unlikely to be the things that have the good armor saves, typically. And then we just need to shave 18 points off, which is something we can do. I don't really want to drop anything. Maybe it just has to be like that. I'd still rather have the unit champion. So maybe it's 12 plus the unit champion. But 12 feels so low. Is there anything else we can drop? So this unit has full command. This unit has not full command. But there's no fat on there. The problem with Wood Elves is often you'll be like, this is as lean as I can make this unit. And you just can't go any cheaper on things. Yeah, it might just have to be 12. And then we've got 5 or 6 points remaining. Which, like, this still feels pretty squishy. But at least it's slightly less squishy. Is there anything else we can give this character? I guess we can give the boar... is it bear? It's bear, yeah. We can give them, like, Swift Shiver Shards. So you've got 2 shots at Strength 5. That's something. It's not super exciting, but it's something a little bit more. So yeah, I think this looks solid. I'm still not 100%. I need to go back to the lab with Wood Elves, but this is very in line with what I was playing. So I don't feel like it needs a whole lot of tweaking, or it needs a lot, and I just got it wrong. One of those two options. How would you build? Oh, hey, Elvenator. How would you build a second dragon if you were to do that? The second dragon. So I think the list fundamentally changes, and it becomes more of a pressure list in my mind. So you still run, like, the double Glade Riders, and then you probably bulk this unit out a little bit more, or you run a unit of the Dryads, because the Dryads are able to hold their own on a home objective more comfortably, and the important thing about a double Dragon list is that you want to not give up points with your core, so the Glade Riders Reserve movie is very good at this, and you also want to try and get as many objective points as possible, and the Dryads are very good at this. They can be in skirmish, so if you're worried about getting run down, skirmish, just run around, that's nice and easy. You can also go in open order, get that static combat res, job's good. So if you go down that line, really consider a unit of Dryads. I think that's a very solid shout. Wild Riders become a little bit more of a liability in that list, but you can just use them aggressively. Make sure you've got unit champions if you go double dragon, because you can use them as challenge partners. But then for the second character, you're probably just going great weapon. You've got the bow, obviously, for free. Forest Dragon, magic items you're looking for. Armor of Destiny. And I'm not sure there's anything else I'd bother giving them. This is like obviously a less good dragon in terms of what they're able to do. Oh, you pay to give them a shield as well. So like this. And you just don't really have anything to spend those last 14 points on. But you've got a 5-up save and a 4-up ward in combat, or a 4-up against shooting. So it's pretty tanky. You might even make this one the general, and then make this one here the challenge bot. But, yeah. Your mileage may vary, and you just use it. Yeah, and you just play double pressure. Oakenstave Wizard just solved so many problems. That's true. You know what else solves problems? 2 500-point dragons. Like, that is a hell of a problem solver. It's harder to play. Maybe I should take that to an event sometime soon, because I need to work out what I'm playing. And Wood Elves is an army that I haven't won with, but I have the army for. So if I went to, like, a square-based event, and they have just been nerfed for the square-based comp, so they're now 2,400 points instead of 2,600, which is probably right, because they're still a double dragon faction. And that's just, like, a base level of power that means that you can, if you go double dragon, it's very easy to get, like, a 2-3 or 3-2 baseline. Where it's like Skaven, which is a 2-6 faction. It's very hard to get that. But anyway, that's by the by. You're very welcome, Elvenator. Thank you. But yeah, Wood Elves, big fan. I do need to start playing them again at some point. We have got... We'll save the other chariot list, Tomb King chariot list, for later. Try and spread things out a bit. Let's have a look at... You know what? We've had Elves. Let's have Elf Slayer. We've had Slayer. The name of the user is Slayer. We've had Elvenator with Elves, and now we're going to have Elf Slayer, and we're going to look at some X-Force. Now, this is an X-Force experiment with the weird limited Italian comp. Everything 0 to 1, 540 points max per character, 300 points max per unit, and for a singles event. And you can't duplicate any runes. I think this comp fucks Dwarves. I think it absolutely fucks Dwarves. I'm not going to say they're unplayable, but I think it makes them super hard to write interesting and varied lists for, despite the fact that it's trying to push variety. I think it's trying to hurt factions, but it doesn't, because like you can still run a Pegasus Death Star, because you still get to be like, oh, I've got 1 Duke, 1 Baron. Woo! Here's 1 unit of Pegasus Knights. You can do dragons. Like you could go, maybe you just go double dragon. I don't know if they have specific comp there, but like double dragon being either. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going off track, and you can also go for more expensive dragons for no good reason. It feels like very much it was written by people who like playing the top armies, and it doesn't really nerf the top armies in any meaningful way. Viletide spam is harder. I will give them that. Viletide spam is not as good. So, there. Mr. Assyrian, are you, by any chance, Malkrad on Discord? Is that you? Just the age-old me reading names in chat and trying to remember who they correlate to on Discord and completely forgetting. Wrath. Ah! You submitted... Wrath! You didn't submit an Old World JSON link. You submitted like a new recruit JSON link. That doesn't import, so your list isn't on here. Malkarad in chat says, I'm Malkarad. Excellent. We will get to your list. I'm going to leave it a little bit longer, just so we've got some time between the Tomb Guard Chariot list. But yeah, I love that style of list. I'm a big fan of trying to, especially the Tomb Guard ones. I really do want to try that at some point. There's different types of JSON lists. Yeah, so I use Old World Builder, and the file has to come from Old World Builder. If you build it on a different website, it's a different file. Okay, so let's have a look at this X-Force list under restrictions. So we've got Burlock Davidson, who has got is the general, provides rerolls and ignores long-range penalty. Probably going to go with the Thunderers, because that's where he gets the most value. Poorly Principal says you did not read the fine print. Go back to the start. Do not receive free list advice. I will say, I try to make it obvious, and this is in no way to rag on you for missing it, Wrath. You know, it's if only there were humans here in this chat who could make human errors. I have been known to do that as well. As he likes to remind me, I wrote a list for Ginger Steve that was illegal, and he took it to a tournament, and they only noticed sort of round 4. So we've all been there. But I do say in like the pin post, it has to be an Old World Builder JSON file. 3 weeks in a row I did this. Yeah, I think I might have even tagged you twice with it as well. So I know I tagged you earlier today to just say, hey, in the Discord channel, this is the wrong sort of list. You need to put it in there. But you are a channel member. Thank you for the support. And that means that you are higher up the priority. So if you submit your list next week, you're basically guaranteed to have it in, as long as you submit the correct list. I'm going to get back on track for the X-Force list. Right, we've got the Thane, who's a BSB with the Rune of Courage, Rune of Battle, Master Rune of Grogny. Those of you who don't speak Dwarves, you're immune to Fear and Terror. You've got extra combat res, and you have a ward save in an aura. So you've got a 6-up ward save within 6 inches for all units, and a 5-up ward save for your unit. Very tanky. Shield Bearers, Rune of Passage, so you can move through cover. Bursting Flame, Accuracy, and Rapid Fire. So this model fires 2 shots with the handgun, which will always hit on 3s. Each hit turns into 2d3 auto hits. And it's pretty nasty. So this is good. Then you've got Engineer, Rune of Accuracy, Rune of Concussive Force. That is wrong, I am pretty sure. I cannot get behind spending 50 points to go for Stupidity. And also you've doubled up on the runes. I thought the runes weren't allowed to be doubled up on. I don't think that's allowed, which is unfortunate, but you know, it is what it is. So, like, I'd be more tempted to say go for like Rune of Piercing or Rune of Slaying, and I don't think either of those are good, but that would be more in line with what I'd be looking for. Okay, so in terms of what you've got an organ gun, so it's definitely worth having an engineer nearby to give them a reroll. Then you've got the Grudge Thrower with no runes. You definitely want to give it at least like a Rune of Reloading or a Rune of Forging. Yeah, there we go, because you've got the Rune of Reloading on the cannon already. And you've got a Bolt Thrower with a Rune of Skewering. Rune of Skewering gives you +1 strength, I think, right? +1 strength, and it turns off armor saves. I don't hate that. Like, Bolt Throwers have terrible ballistic skill, in that you're probably going to be hitting on 5s most of the time. And it's 75 points, that's pretty steep. But if it hits, it's strength 7, right? I think Bolt Thrower is a strength 6 natively. Yeah, so you become strength 7, your AP, yes, so you just ignore armor saves. So you can theoretically be pretty nasty, especially if you put this on the flank. So yeah, I don't hate this at all. And you've got to make choices like this. However, I really want an Engineer Sapper in there. The reason being, dig in, because this gives you, and I'm assuming this is how it's being played in your event, but most of the community, as far as I can tell, seems to agree. This means it works like Earthen Ramparts, where you are immune to stomps, you only take a single attack back against you, and you can't be impact-hitted. So, this is a very strong rule. You want this in your list at least once. And let's just give them a handgun as well. Actually, give them a great weapon. No, we'll give them both. We'll give them both. Is there anything that we want to give them shooting-wise? I don't think there is. Maybe we'll give them the Enchanted Rune, just in case you ever need to shoot like a Banshee or something that's out in the open. I know it's only a single wound, but it's something. Could give them a Rune of Piercing, but this is actually not that good, because you're only a Strength 5 Bolt Thrower and you're only AP 1, so it doesn't make a huge amount of difference. You're submitting it in binary next week. Nice. Statistic says, by the way, I've heard several times that Old World Builder is not as good as New Recruit. Apparently it has a few issues. What's your opinion on it? I don't like New Recruit. That is in no way... Like, I've talked to the guy who does the data for New Recruit for Old World a few times, and he's lovely. So it's in no way a value on him. It's updated way slower. Old World Builder, like, if rules leak... Often I'll open Old World Builder and the rules will be there before I've even had chance to, like, you know, rules will leak. I'll be like, cool, I've got to make a video. I'll record my video. I'll finish editing. I'll set it to upload. While it's setting to upload, I'll be like, oh, let's see if I can write some lists. Boom, it's already in there. He's also really quick on fixing issues if you notice them. There is a Discord channel for New Recruit, which you can just find... not New Recruit, sorry, Old World Builder. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Old World Builder. And I also, this, like, I look at this and it's way cleaner in my mind. Like, the way that it works, I look at it and it works way better for my brain. That is personal preference. That is something that I prefer as an individual. You may not agree, and that is fine. Yeah, so this character is just going to be out on his own near the units here. Okie dokie. But yeah, Sapper, very good, very important, I think. So make sure we have one of those. The Runesmith's nice as well, but if you're going for the Runesmith, like, you may as well go for at least one Rune of Spellbreaking, which is just an old, classic, old-school Dispel Scroll. It's just really good. There's going to be at least one spell that they cast at you that you're like, I have to stop that. Then you've got a full unit of Rangers, you've got a full unit, 2 Gyrocopters, and 20 Thunderers. You haven't given any of them runes. Oh yeah, they can't have it. The Rangers could. Is there anything we could give them? Can't double up on any of these, so not really. And then you've got Bolt Thrower, Cannon, Grudge Thrower, Eurocopters, Organ Gun. I think this seems like, in terms of the massive, massive restrictions you have, this feels fine. Yeah, something has to go. I think because of the points, I'm just going to cut the Bolt Thrower. I don't hate the Bolt Thrower. I actually think what you've gone for is kind of fine. But in terms of like the engineer sapper, just way more important to have in. And we need 75 points from somewhere, and it would be, I'm not going to cut 6 rangers. Going down to 14 feels pretty bad. Like, the fact they're now capped at 20 is a little bit rough anyway. Oh, you also haven't given them throwing axes. Interesting. Oh, let's give them throwing axes and then drop 1 model and a musician. I think I like that more. Yeah. Something like that. But I think, I think you can play Grand Army a little bit better, but I actually think you really struggle to Elf Slayer. I think you really struggle to play X-Force with this comp. In fact, I think it's one of the few armies that is really hurt. Because you want to take like 3 to 4 units of scout copters. You want to be able to take like multiple cannons. Even though cannons aren't, they're much worse than the cannons that you'll see for other factions. They're still point and click. I am actually becoming incredibly dwarf cannon build, and when I get round to doing dwarves, I'll probably be putting them in. Better ergonomy for Old World Builder. What it really lacks an account system to sort list properly. True. I wonder if that's something that they're doing, because obviously we looked at the start of the screen, and I haven't looked at it properly, so I don't know how I feel about it yet. The Old World rankings integration that they've gone with, I wonder if they're going to be stored account wide, or if it's still just going to be stored in your cookies. Old World rankings are saving lists. That would solve that problem. All right, cool. Well, good stuff there. Let's have a look at something entirely different. We'll do one more, and then we'll come to your chariot list, Malkirad. Because I saw you in chat, and I don't know if you're going to be here all evening. You don't want to have an account and give them your email. That's how they get you. That's fair. I mean, you can continue to just use the Old World Builder. Oh, wait, hold on. In the top corner, it says Dropbox login for Old World Builder. Maybe you can just link it to your Dropbox, and then it would save your lists. And I've never talked to the person who does Old World Builder. I just really like their site. I assume it's going to stay the way that it is, and the logging in and saving your list via Dropbox or Old World Rankings is an optional thing. So, the best of both worlds. The flexibility there for those who like it, but those who don't. Alright. Let's have a look at Jacob's list. So this is Wolves of the Sea, and you said the Sorcerer Lord is paired up with the Horseman. The character goes about and tosses spells while the units act as protection on top of holding the objectives. Aspiring Champion leads the main Marauder army. Exalted Champion is paired with the Huskarls. So, Sorcerer Lord, you know what? I've obviously made it clear how I feel about unit names. This is still actually pretty legible. I'm looking at this, my eyes being immediately drawn to the actual names of the unit types, so thank you. It's made it more easy for me to do a read. So you've got 2... I just don't rate single Dragon Ogres. Do people really still play them in current Warhammer? Like post-match play guides? Do people find value in these? I really don't. Am I doing something wrong? Because lots of people still put them in lists. Is it people who are playing the game? And this is in no way a slight at you, Jack. It's just like I see them a lot. Is the advice to put them in your list coming from people who play the game and actually get value out of them? Or is it just like a truism that they were good for the first year and a half of the game? In smaller points, yeah, 100%. 100%. At smaller points, Dragon Ogres are disgusting. What would you replace it with? I don't know. Well, so you've got 1,500... 1,500. You've got 150 points here, right? So the 2 of these basically turns into a giant spawn of Nurgle. You need to find some more points. The main thing I would say is, if I look at this list, if I eyeball it, immediately, double gigantic spawn jumps out as being something useful. Dave, thank you so much for your opinion. I appreciate you. However, your Empire, I think... and this is not a comment about you, this is a comment about Empire in general, and also the sort of more narrative style that you play within. I think Empire might fall over to Razorgore. The Shartak with a 2+ save is mad. Well, it doesn't die. But it also doesn't do that much. Don't get me wrong, I'm a Dragon Ogre fan still, and I want to play around with the Death Star of Dragon Ogres with character support, and that's something that I probably should do. The problem is, for doing that, like, I'm trying to win. I want to take lists to events with armies that I haven't won with, which means that Chaos is kind of off the list for now, even though that would be a fun one. Maybe I'll slot that in and just be like, here's 6 Dragon Ogres with a Wizard and a Chaos Lord in. That's a fun build. You're not feeling adding spawns. Would prefer to keep more humanoid forms. Okay, that's fine. That would be the general thing that I would add, but if not, like, even maybe just going to 3 Dragon Ogres, I think a squad of 3 puts a lot of pressure on, and if you're looking for something to help you grind through large infantry units, they can do that well. They can soak charges from not dragons, sorry. They can soak charges from cavalry pretty well because they've got so many wounds, and then they hit back pretty hard. They still kind of fall over to dragons, but yeah. Okay, the skin wolves as well, I don't hate. Like, they're flexible, they're pretty cheap, and if you're playing Wolves of the Sea, you're trying to go first, so in that vein, they're pretty interesting. I do want to play a list again with like 18 of them. I think that's fun. I think that's a fun idea. The Huskarls, you've gone for magic resist 2, -1 to be hit, flails, light armor, so you can go for the plus toughness, shields and drilled, undivided. Yeah, this looks like a good unit. This is your sort of like Death Star punchy unit. 2 attacks each. I'd like to see Totem of Wrath. Oh, hey. Okay, so you've got the Exalted Champion. I'm just going to swap those around. Because you want the offensive buff on the unit, because the unit can't lose the offensive buff. Whereas this character could be sniped out the unit, either in combat or by like a cannonball or something like that. I'd rather lose the -1 to be shot in combat than losing the reroll 1s to wound, especially if I have the misfortune of an elf or something with first strike getting me before I get to make my attacks. Oh, wait, hold on. This is on foot? Do I have to reread this? Exalted Champion... you had Totem of Wrath on the foot unit? Okay, Totem of Wrath definitely shouldn't go on the foot unit. Because they're not going to be charging a lot of the time. But having Banner of Swirling Wind on them, not a bad shout anyway. Just the -1 to be hit is quite nice. And then you've got Aura of Pain. What on earth is Aura of Pain? Okay, this is... so this doesn't do a lot. It theoretically adds a little bit of combat res, which is cool. But it's not worth 30 points. You're not actually going to get all that much out of it. Okay, and you've gone... is this... No, we're looking at the Aspiring Champion. Okay, so you've got Great Weapon, Heavy Armor Shield, Favor of the God Braden Collar. I don't hate that build. And then it's going to go with this unit, right? The Chaos Marauders. You've gone for Hunter Tapestry, Taskmaster Scourge, Hand Weapon, Shield, +1 toughness. Great. I like this unit a lot. I think this is great. I think this works very well. Led by Aspiring Champion. Cool. This is fantastic. And giving them the character with the Banner of Swirling Winds inside there, I think works very nicely. I would like your unit of Huskarls to be -1 to be shot. So, you've gone for Enchanting Aura on them. That is good. I do like the Enchanting Aura. For so anyone who doesn't speak out, yeah, you probably all know this at this point. Enchanting Aura is the -1 to be. It's the strike last. I was thinking about giving them Diabolic Splendor for -1 to be shot. How worried? Like, do we need to give this unit strikes last because it's a cavalry unit? It's nice to have. If anyone has counter charge, it just really ruins their day. Should we give Marauders Crow Cult then? I don't hate Cult of the Crow. I don't know that it's good, but I also don't know that it's bad. I'd be curious to see it play out on the table. I'm not opposed to just having like the emergency button of like, let's try and get +1 toughness for a turn. Oh hey, I've got T5 Marauders. What are you going to do about it? I'm down to give that some playtime on the table, and I'd love to hear how it does for you, because I think that is an interesting thing to have, and people have talked about it, but I haven't seen it in action. Huskarls are only initiative 3, so Enchanting Aura with them is good. Yeah, that is fair. I just really want to give them -1 to be hit. But I don't think we can. I don't think we can do that. I think giving them Totem of Wrath is so good. Huskars with Nurgle Mark. It's fine. Mark and Nurgle... So, like, all of the marks are okay. Making enemies reroll 6s to hit against you is okay. The thing about this unit is it is designed as a real hammer. This is not a tanky unit. It's tanky in that it's T5, but it's also only got a 6-up save in combat. If I'm making my opponent slightly worse at hitting me, that's okay, but I'm not sold that it's particularly useful. Mark of Chaos Undivided, you don't pay any points for, and this ability is nuts. It's so much harder to contextualize, whether it's like great or not, but just almost never running away to fear, panic, or terror it's so nice to have. And paying points to lose that and get a buff that I think is arguably not as good, I find a very difficult sell. Okay, so you've also got the Sorcerer Lord, who is your general. Marcus Inch, level 4, Chaos Steed, Shadowlands, Spell Familiar, one of Jet, Rod of the Damned. Okay, so this is a caster and a half. Oh, and this is Diabolic Splendor. Okay, I think that's fine. That makes my umming and ahhing about trying to put Diabolic Splendor on the Huskars a lot easier, because I do like it on this character, so I can give that up. Shadowlands, I don't know about Shadowlands. So you obviously get this magic missile, and you also get this. There's two, right? Am I wrong? Oh, is there only one magic missile? Oh, there's the Maelstrom of Chaos. Oh, you don't want that, though, because you're just going to take the Marcus Inch one. What is the thinking behind Shadowlands? Like, I've seen a couple of people play it, and I've never been impressed. With Dragon Ogre Shartax being pruned, but wanting to keep more humanoid models, how about more Skin Wolves? That's not a bad shout. The other thing is just go for, like, a squad of 3 Dragon Ogres, honestly. I think that's super good. I like that more than a second squad of Dark Magic. Dark Magic's fine, but the problem is it just doesn't... So we're getting 5 out of 6 spells here. This is not a lore familiar caster, so we're not taking it with the goal of being like, we have one thing that we can do. So Dark Magic has Word of Pain, which is good. Infernal Gateway, which is conditionally good depending on your list, but not super good in this list. And then Battle Lust, which is great as well for if you've got a punchy unit. So it's nice there, but it doesn't really do much. Honestly, I'm kind of just looking at Battle Magic and going, Fireball's good. Pillar of Fire's fine. It's not great, it's not terrible. Arcane Urgency's very good. Oaken Shield's pretty good because you want your unit to not fall over to enemy shooting. And then the other spells, Curse of Cowardly Flight is okay. Curse of Arrow Attraction is just the one that you always swap in this list. Like, I look at Battle Magic and think it's better. If you've got a particular role in mind for Shadowlands, then maybe that is the way to go, but I'm not 100% sold on it myself. You wish Elementalism was an option. That's fair. Yeah, I think Elementalism's very good on a solo caster. And they're joining the Marauder Horsemen, which have Magic Resist 2, and Throwing Axes, Unnatural Fortitude. The only thing I'd say here is you probably want a musician. You've only got Leadership 8 on this unit, so if you ever have to run away, or if you do fail a panic test, which is more likely because they get their Mark of Zinch, right? Oh, no, they can't be marked. I forgot they can't be marked. So you're losing the +1 to cast. Oh, that's a bummer. Yeah, that sucks. We could fit another unit of Marauder Huskars in as a bodyguard, but, I mean, that's just not... It's not realistic, is it? There's so many points. So I'd have to go... Let's say we go 7 like this. And we give them Unnatural Fortitude as well. Give them shields. Could give them drilled. It's expensive, though. 161 points. I guess maybe this is the way to do things. I don't think I like them that much. I think just having it come out of core feels fine. So you have 1 to jet to get +1 to cast. Yeah, that makes sense. I like what you're going with there. It's just a shame that you're not getting an additional +2 to cast because of the Zinch as well. But I don't think the second unit of Marauder Huskars is right. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. I'm undecided on that. But we'll leave it as the core unit for now because having it come out of core is obviously nice. Okay, so yeah, this is good, and I think I like Battle Magic more. But again, you know, to your discretion. This character is pretty punchy. Going with the Marauder Horseman, getting some attacks, rerunning Monster Wound is just going to be very solid, and also the Enchanting Aura is very nice as well. And then this character on foot making the Marauders very hard. Like, they're going to struggle to be shot off the board. They've got magic resist, so it's hard to cast spells at them, and they've got the Monster Hunter Tapestry. Like, this is just a pretty secure way of scoring core. You know, standing on objective and scoring, so I do really like that. Finally, you've got this unit. A Natural Fortitude. Yeah. Yeah. That feels fine. Coming in the back lines, ambushing. Oh, no, they definitely want ambush. I missed that. This is a unit that comes in the back lines and tries to get enemy baggage trains or mess with anything that's holding like a home field objective. Makes the frenzy less of a downside. You don't want to give someone like I park my dragon 6 inches away from you because I march forwards 20 inches. You charge me. The Marauders die or lose combat. My dragon gets to test a restrain. Then I get a better charge on my next turn. That is unbelievably punishing. And then maybe just going literally triple Dragon Ogre here. Shartak, heavy armor. Like so. 62 points over. People in the Warriors of Chaos tab keep telling me that ambush is bad and unreliable. I agree for a full army. For a single unit, you can... The value of this unit is not necessarily coming in, but having it in ambush, making people respect your ability to come in behind and kill their baggage train immediately, or to get their unit strength 14 unit of peasant archers down to 9 so they can't hold an objective. People have to play differently with it, so even without coming in, they're good. But then also they can come in, move 5 inches, throw the throwing axes, and just be a pain in the backside. And the T5, they're really hard to shift. And they're also like 6%, 5 or 6% of your points here. So I don't mind 6% of my points maybe not coming on. I wouldn't want to go heavy on the ambushes when you've got no additional consistency to bring them in, but I think this is absolutely fine. Okay, so we need to shave 60 points. How do we do that? This looks fine. This looks fine. This looks fine as well. I think we don't need to be quite as heavy. So we could go like, you can do the same thing with like 6 of these. And then it's even less of your list. Like right now, it's less than 5% of your army. It's 6 models that are still going to be a right pain in the backside. We can drop the musician as well. You're frenzied, so it's unlikely you're fleeing. If you do flee, there are only 6 models anyway. It's probably not the end of the world. And then we need to drop 30 points, so let's just go down to 24 on this unit. And I think this looks good within the confines of what you've gone for. I will say that I still think you're better off just running dragons, but if you're writing the list within the restriction of not running dragons and staying more humanoid, I think this works well. And the unit of 3 dragon ogres is going to give you a lot more bang for your buck, in my mind, than 2 individual ones. So yeah, that looks solid. That does look good. Sorry, Tistic, we're not getting to yours this evening. I did see it on there, but didn't quite make the cut in terms of when it was submitted. Oh, Matthew says, probably better with level 3 and Lore Familiar. No, I think the main thing that this character's doing... Wait, hold on. So we were talking about Dark Magic. Dark Magic is better with level 3 and Lore Familiar, but if you talk about this character is very good as a level 4 with +1 spell, because then you're reliably getting the Fireball and using the Rod of the Damned for the additional casting there. Cool. Okay, let's go now to Malkarad's Grand Army Chariots. Long time viewer and supporter, thank you kindly. First time list submitter. Long time listener, first time caller. That's, I think, the first time anyone's ever hit me with that. I like it. Trying to make a Tomb King Death Star chariot, and I'm curious about what you think. I'm curious about what you think, Malkarad, because I have been looking at various lists like this a good amount. Oh, hey! It's a Tomb King with Cackling Blade. Nice. I was talking about that an hour ago. Already, I'm seeing things that I like. Double Necrosphinx, Tomb Scorpion. You maybe go heavier on the Tomb Scorpions. And then you've got a dragon. I am on the fence about this character. Now, I would say, first of all, let's go level 3. And let's give them... Where's it gone? Level 3 Lore Familiar is better than level 4. I know you're healing less, but you're consistently getting your spell, which is very important. So let me just change that here, Lore Familiar, and drop down to level 3. Same points. You're welcome, Jacker. A lot of points for likely, extra fireball, and blue fire. Yeah, but that's the whole purpose of the model. You're not getting a lot of value out of just making something hit harder in combat. What Warriors of Chaos really lack is the ability to reach out and touch things at range, and their wizards do that very well. You love the model too much to not use the Priest and Dragon. So here's the thing. It might actually be the best way to do things. I feel a bit frustrated by it as a model or unit, because I think the Tomb King is a lot better. I like the Tomb King a lot more. The risk of this character dying when it's the Hierophant really worries me. So against some armies, you have to play very cagey with it, or like sacrifice the Necrosphinxes for screening purposes. But it means that instead of going for like a 350 point dragon, you can go for a 420 point Hierophant, and then you don't have to go for a High Priest as well. So yeah, I think this is probably correct, especially if you look at the points limitations. But the other thing you could do is not run this Mortuary Priest, run it as a Lord, and then run the High Priest as a budget, like level 3 on a horse or something, which doesn't feel good either. So, yeah, this is probably correct. It's just, that's one of the things that when I'm looking to make this sort of list, I'm like, can I fit in something different instead? Other than that, you've got a Talisman of Protection, Meteoric Iron, Skeleton, Chariot with Icon of Rakaf. The one problem I've got here is this is fantastic. You really cannot afford for it to die. The Tomb King is very squishy, because obviously you're planning to pass the wounds onto the Royal Herald, but the Royal Herald, you're lacking... I don't want this model to die, so there is a limit to how many wounds I can pass to it. That worries me, because you have to allocate them when they're hits, so there is a risk that you overcommit and this character just gets smooshed, or you undercommit and the Tomb King ends up taking a chunk of damage. What I'd like to see is actually maybe we drop this Mortuary Priest, as nice as it would be to have, and we leave this character as it is. Meteoric Iron, Talisman of Protection, Skeleton, Chariot. This is a great challenge bot. Oh, and you also want to give it a great weapon. So this character's just there to soak all of the wounds from the Tomb King. Then we go for another Royal Herald on Chariot, Skeleton Chariot, Battle Standard Bearer, Icon of Rakaf, because this is very key to how the list functions. And then you just put in a great weapon. I wouldn't even bother with a Charm Shield, frankly, because this character doesn't want to soak any wounds, and it's still kind of beefy. It's got a 4-up save and a 5-up regen. It's not as tanky as it could be. I'd love to give it a ward save, but it also gives you more punch because you've got more great weapon attacks. Yeah, something that I'd maybe go in line with. I think this is better in my mind than a second Mortuary Priest. Cool. Yeah, otherwise this looks pretty solid. Then you've got 8 Skeleton Chariots. Damn, son. Where'd you find them? Musician. Always musician, even on Undead, because if you draw combat, then winning and having a high unit strength is nice to have. You like that? Hell yeah. Pleased we align. I would like to see Magic Resist on this unit. I think we're only going to be able to get Magic Resist 1, which is a downside of stuffing the unit so heavy with Chariots. But Magic Resist 1 is still worth going for, in my mind. Then you've got Skeleton Horse Archers, Skeleton Archers. Both of these are solid. I like the choice you've gone for. Single Tomb Scorpion, double Necrosphinx. So it literally just comes down to we've got to shave 26 points here. It might just be we go down to 7 Chariots, and that gives you 10. Although you have to be 6 wide to get all of the characters into the front rank. That is the downside. It's not a real downside because we've got Icon of Rakaf, so we can just make the reserve move. Not the reserve move. We can make the open order. God damn it, words. We can use Icon of Rakaf. We can get the reform on every movement. So being 6 wide is actually not that scary. The only time it's a downside is when you go to wheel. And wheeling for charging specifically. But yeah, this looks good. So your threats, you've got this one massive Death Star, then you've got the High Priest, and then you've got the 2 Necrosphinxes. This is nice as well, but it's not, like, huge. So your drops are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This list would really like to go first, especially against shooting armies. I don't think there's any way to have good core and then not also have a lot of drops, which is a bit of a bugger. Okay, that's fine. We'll just put 15 more points in, which is like... could be 3 skeleton archers. Or even giving them light armor. I know it's usually not worthwhile, but for the archers, 14 with a 6-up save and a 6-up regen just makes them a little bit durable. Or 17 with just the regen. I think 17 is actually better. Yeah. Could give the Herald the Warding Splint, combined with the shield, he gets a 4-up armor. The priest uses Talisman Protection of the Dragon's armor. So, the problem is, we've got the Talisman Protection on the Royal Herald here, with Meteoric Iron. Then we've got the second Herald, which is naked, and then we've got the third one, which has got the Warding Splint. It's theoretically possible to give all 3 a ward save, because we could put the Armor of Destiny, the 4-up ward save item, on one of them. But we're super capped on points. And I do like this Tomb King loadout with the Cackling Blade. But yeah, it depends what you value. Like you could play it around and just give this guy a great weapon, the Tomb King, and then you could give one of these the 4-up ward save, and that's still pretty okay. I don't think there's any way to drop points to make that work. Because the Cackling Blade's only 65, right? So you'd have to replace the Cackling Blade Charm Shield entirely. Yeah, like, it's a 1-to-1 trade. I still like the Cackling Blade, I think. But maybe you don't need it. With 3 Great Weapon characters, maybe you just don't need it. You know, because you're rocking, what, 10 Great Weapon attacks here? That are most likely going to be hitting on 3s into a general unit. It makes the character less good into, like, a Dragon Challenge, but you probably still don't necessarily want them into a Dragon Challenge, which is a little bit of a problem. Any benefit in having the Terror Mask and a Skelly Champion? It would be fine. I'm not in love with that. Like, I don't really want the unit to run away. If I've got this Death Star, I kind of want them to be making combat. Sure, theoretically, it would catch them, but you really want to make sure that you are tied up in combat on your opponent's turn if possible. And with Icon of Rukaf, it's really important to be killing stuff and then getting to make your overruns in any direction you want. So I don't really want them running away. You say keep the king alive. Yeah, we've already got, we've got an entire Herald that's job is just to be 5 wounds to soak on the king. And then we've got this character as well as backup. We've got 4 spare wounds, which is still a 4-up save and a 5-up regen, which is not bad. It's something. Like, maybe you can try and sneak a Charmed Shield in here. I don't know where you'd find the points, but, like, that could be something that you could play around with. Anyway. This looks good. Mark Rad, this looks good. In terms of strength, like, just pure strength, I think it's not as good as the Tomb Guard Brick, but I think it's more fun, and it's a lot faster. The problem is, Tomb Kings can just make their infantry pretty fast with My Will Be Done, so you're still going up the board at like 12 inches a turn, and there's not a lot of board, so you can kind of just be where you need to be on turn 2 or 3 with the infantry list. Terminal Wrath does not apply an impact hits, does it? I believe, let me just pull up the wording, I believe it works in terms of gives them AP, oh no, sorry. It 2 separate things. So it improves the AP of their weapons by 1. This doesn't apply to the impact hits because they're not a weapon. And then they may reroll any rolls of a 1 to wound, and this is during when it charges. It's not specifically for weapons. It's just any wounds that they do on a turn they charge. They reroll 1s. So it's still AP 0 impact hits, but you're rerolling the wounds, which is nice. It's not bad. Cool. Alrighty then. Let's have a look now. Let's have a quick palette cleanser again. And we'll look at Fellman32's list, who had some context I need to find in Discord. Let me just scroll up here. Okay, you have a doubles tournament coming up, and you'll be teaming up with the Dwarves playing the Elves. Scenarios can be anything from match by guard, no baggage trains, no more than 250 points for a unit or character, and 1 level 3 was allowed. Okay, so your partner's bringing a Runesmith Thane, block of Dwarf Warriors, Rangers, 2 Copters, and a Cannon, Death Star in the block, and 2 runes of Spellbreaking. Okay, that's good. You've got some additional models. The Glade Lord will be with the Wild Riders, give them an extra punch, while the Glade Captain on Stag can give the 360 support and challenge if needed. Not train the ambushes and furious charge on the Glade Riders since there won't be any baggage train. Glade Riders having... Yeah, ambush and furious charge are not rules that I'm super in love with. Reserve move I do love, though. Which you've given me here. Okay, so you've got the Glade Lord. Which way around did you say it? Wild Rider Kindred. Okay, so I think if I was doing this, you've got basically one character that's joining the Wild Riders for extra punch and one that's going to go separate. I'd swap these around. I think the captain gets a lot more from the Wild Rider Kindred buffs, and the Glade Lord is able to do a better solo build. That would be how I would run it. No worries. You're welcome. So, I think the general premise here is good. I'm not sold on the Sister of the Thorn. We'll take those out for the moment. Maybe we'll put those back in. I struggle to get value out of them, I find. So this character, I think, wants to be the one that goes in Helm of the Hunt, Anointed Netlings, Aspect to the Best. So it has got a 2-up save, but let's just make this the Wild Rider Kindred one. So it's still 6 attacks with a great weapon on the charge. High initiative. He's going to be initiative like 8 or whatever. Very, very solid there. You've got Anointed Netlings on this character. We'll swap it over to the Befuddlement of Mischiefs, because you were using that just to try and provide buffs for the Wild Riders more than anything else. Befuddlement of Mischiefs being a unit in base to base is -1 to weapon skill and initiative. That means even in an elf matchup on the counter charge, you're still going to strikes first. All of that good stuff. So this is the stag character that goes with the Wild Riders, provides them with first charge, provides them with extra punch because it's 6 great weapon attacks on the charge. Then the Glade Lord can just run solo. I know it doesn't have a 2-up armor save, but you can give it a ward save. So we don't need the Performance for Mischiefs. I don't hate... Oh, we can put Resplendent Luminescence on the Wild Riders unit as well, if you want to. That's where you had, if we're swapping those over. Okay. So the Glade Lord can go maximum 250 points. And... Oh, you had it on an Elven Steed. Oh, okay, hold on. Points might not work. Points don't work. Because we're capped to 1,000 points and each character can only be 250. I don't know, whoopsie. It would have been better around the way that I was talking about, but we can't do that because that's not how 250 points on characters as a cap works. Okay, never mind. So we'll leave that exactly as it is, because I think you've made a good choice, because this is legal. Cool. And then you've got this with everything there. Glade Riders. Honestly, these are solid. I'd probably drop the Furious Charge of Impetuous and the Ambushes. I'd like just having them on the board to start off with. They're not going to do much punch even with the Furious Charge and Impetuous. Only one of them can have reserve move, though, because it's 0 to 1 per 1,000 points. So I guess maybe you're going 1 unit reserve move, and maybe you're giving the other one Furious Charge. I'm not sold on it, but it's fine. Can you make the Lord under the Captain instead? You could. But if you're doing that, you may... the Lord's bringing a lot of punch. It's bringing 6 attacks, re-rolling hits and wounds with the Ariel's Favor. So it's a lot of damage, even though it's not as tanky. I'd still rather have that than a second... Well, I don't know if I'd rather have that in a second stack, but I think the build is fine. Yeah, and then... These Sister of the Thorn, I'm not sold on. I'm really not sold on. You said there's no baggage train, so there's no point in coming in the back lines. Is it just like a unit of Deepwood Scouts or something for some shooting support? Don't you start, Oak Boy Phil. I'll have to have words with you. You've submitted a list that isn't orcs. So, we're going to be having words. Maybe just this as a unit. 9 Deepwood Scouts. Doesn't feel great. Feels fine, but it doesn't feel great. You probably want a Beast Pack, actually, as well. That's something to throw in. Because the Beast Pack gives you protection from having to charge with your Wild Riders. You've had a lot of luck with Sisters. I seem to roll Fireball more often than not. If you want to put them in on that basis, you can do. I'm not going to take that as a valid reason to put them in. Because... across a 5-round tournament, assuming it is 5 rounds, you're not even statistically guaranteed. But, it's a 1 in 6 chance per round, and there's 5 rounds, so there's a good chance that you don't even get it once. I don't know what the odds on that are. In fact, we can work it out. We can work it out. The odds of not getting it at all. You've got a 40% chance of not getting Fireball once with those sisters across a 5-round tournament. However, if your dice are weighted to 1s, in which case you're more likely to get Fireball and then less likely to do anything else. Never tell me the odds. I apologize for telling you that the odds were very specifically... Oh, God, I've deleted it. I can't be able to work it out. It was like 39.4% or something. Let's have a look here. Check Discord and tell you if it's correct. Have you posted it? Or have you edited your list? You can take the sisters out. I don't hate sisters. I don't think they're bad. I think with Hammerhand they're pretty okay. It's just that there are 130 points in a, and we're kind of limited on points, right? Sent it into DM to me. Just post it and fix my list. It's not come through as a DM, so it's probably in my message requests, which I'll be honest, I do not look at ever, or very rarely. Those message requests just live there. But yeah, like maybe the Deepwood Scouts would be better. That might be the way to do things. So something like this. But I think the general premise is good. Don't worry about ambush with the Glade Riders. The characters make sense the way that you've got them. One beast pack is very good because it stops you from having to charge with the Wild Riders. And then the, maybe it's Deepwood Scouts, or maybe it's like a 3rd unit of Glade Riders or something like that. I'm not 100% sure. That looks good. You can tell it looks good because it says name in brackets, which is how it's formatted for Old World Builder. Boom. Okay, so I normally wouldn't do this. So, if you're watching and I've said if you've submitted a list late, then I can't do it. However, Wrath did submit their list early. They just didn't get it in. And it's given that they've submitted an Old World Builder file, I can just click the button. Before I do anything else, though, I do need to copy this list into the chat. So, Orions, here we go. Export. And it was at... I apologize. I actually, because I've deleted and put the name in, I can't remember exactly who it was. It was Fellman. Oh, man. There we go. I've pinged you. Okay. You are welcome, Pellman. Hope it goes well for you. Hope it goes well. All right, let's have a quick look at this this list here. Where did I put it? Heralds of Darkness, Square Base Comp. So, we're at 2,200 for Square Base Comp, because they are the worst version of Wolves of the Sea. So, you've gone for Chosen Chariot, double Favour of the Gods. You haven't given them a weapon. Let's give them at least a flail. You know what? You've just rebuilt this in Old World Builder after translating it from New Recruit. I'm going to assume that was a mistake in you putting it together, as opposed to a deliberate choice. So, we'll give you some grace there. It's the only thing that seems reasonable. Halberd. You want to go Halberd over... I think Halberds are fine. You know what? Actually, Halberds might be better than Flails. I think I may have wrote this list before 1.5. God, that's going back, and I still haven't taken it anywhere. Chaos Lord... I'm a big fan of the Exalted... Oh, you've gone double Exalted Champion here as well, and they're 0-1. Okay. Oh, no, Exalted Champion, Exalted Sorcerer. Like, I think this Lord, in my book, is better with the regen. Like, the triple save, to me, feels better than just going for the... I'm not going to change it over if you prefer this version of the Chaos Lord, but I think it's better as the Exalted Champion, not only because you get the 5-up regen, but the Magic Resist 2 is really solid. It makes a big difference in terms of, like, do I fall over to Vile Tide, which is something that's very strong in the meta at the moment. So this is probably better as an Exalted Champion, but I'm not going to change it here. It's roughly the same points, you know. It's pretty 1A, 1B. Exalted Champion, BSB, great weapon. Okay, how are we doing on points? 15 points available. Not for... Okay, yep, let's change it over. Exalted Champion, General, Chaos Dragon, Magic Items, 2 Favors of the Gods, and then where's the Brazen Collar? Cool. We can also go Mark and Nurgle, but we don't need to. 480 points, great weapon. There we go. Yep. So I like Mark and Nurgle's fine. I actually still don't hate Mark of Undivided, especially because we are only Leadership 8. So having that reroll on the panic tests can come in pretty clutch. I know we've got a BSB, but still, I'm on board with that. And it gives us points here because you haven't gone for a banner on the Exalted Champion. And then you've got a Demonology... Grimoire of Ogvold. This is the, you know all of the spells, right? We're just going to change that for a Lore Familiar and a Power Scroll, because it does exactly the same, because there's only, probably 2 spells you care about. And you get the Power Scroll to cast one of them once per game, and just make sure you get it off. Cool. Great. And then this one is Double Favor of the Gods... BSB. Like, I'd like a banner on here. What are we missing? So you've got Knights, Marauders, Horsemen, Chariot, Dragon Ogre. This damn Dragon Ogre. Again. This damn Dragon Ogre. I feel like this list has a little bit more value in him. I still don't think he's great, but at least he's like 70 or like 91 points you put down as an early drop. It's like a chaff drop. I'm still not sold on him, but whatever. We'll leave him there. Yeah, okay. Cool. Chaos Knights, Undivided, Totem of Wrath, Musician, Dark Hearts. Is this the one I think it is? Yeah, I like this one. If you win combat, -1 to leadership when making the break test. That's just a good thing, especially when you combo it with a dragon. So this is good. Full command, magic resist, great stuff there. Lovely. Then 5 Knights, Undivided, Brazen Collar. I don't see the point of this unit. I'm not sure what they're going to do. I don't feel like they're actually going to do anything. These horsemen, flails, light armor shields, unnatural fortitude. Remind me what Slithering Serpent does, poison attacks. But you have to take a leadership test to get there. It is only 12 points for both units to have it, so that's fine. I'm not sold that it's worth doing, especially when you've got Strength 5 attacks from the flails. But, it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. They're generally only charged once. Yeah, that's true. That is true. I feel like instead of this unit of knights, a scoring unit would be nice. Which, I guess... a bigger unit of horsemen, maybe? Like, it feels rough to do, but, like, is it like this? Skirmishers. You've probably given these 2 skirmishers, right? Oh, no, these ones should have skirmishers. So this one can stay open order. And you give it, like, toughness. I don't feel like there's good scoring options, but, like, maybe this is worth doing. You just go Cav Spears, something like this, to sit on a home objective. Scrabbling around trying to not play through dragons. And you really want to use the chariots. Yeah, that's the problem. Like, the chariots are so cool that it's... But it's so hard to make them work. Yeah. I'm not 100% sold on this, but it's beefy-ish. And you can use them to hold your home field objective, which is something. This unit with the character support, I think, is solid. These 2 units as little, cheap missiles are okay. I want a scoring unit. This is about the best I can do with it. Characters all make sense. Yeah, I think this is fine. Like you say, it's hard not to just run triple dragon, because that would be better. Like, maybe a concession you make to get the power level up a little bit is you drop all of this here, which is, what, 280... Yeah, you could just put in the Warpfire Dragon instead of this, And that way you've still got one chariot at least, and you've got 2 dragons, but it does lose the soul of the list a little bit. But I think under the restrictions that we've got there, this is pretty okay. Use strength 24 seems a lot. Yeah, 100%. It's the problem is it's only 8 wounds. Well, it's 8 wounds to get below scoring. And not being able to put them, having them in open order as well is a little bit rough, because I'd love to have them in skirmish. Oh, sorry, I didn't change it, but you're here and you're listening. So these 2 units here should have skirmish in my mind. Or maybe give one of them skirmish and give this unit skirmish as well, so that if someone comes to try and get your scoring unit, you can just like march them in a completely random direction so they don't catch you. But yeah, that would be the direction that I think I would go in for that. Okay, what do we got left? We've got Bretonnians, Cathay, Demons, Wolves of the Sea, and more Tomb Kings. Oh, wait, hold on. Is there a 3rd chariot list? Damn. I didn't even realise there was a 3rd Tomb King chariot list. I even called it Hordes of Chariot, because I thought there were 2 of them. Which is like... I think there was about 16 chariots across those 2 lists, so... Okay. Let's go for Orc Boy Phil's list, because I saw Orc Boy Phil in chat. Phil! It's not an Orc list. What are you doing? No worries, Wrath. It was easy to do, and you were up on the priority list, so not a problem. If only Heralds of Dark was good. I know, right? That's true. So, Phil says, I decided to add some peasants to my army. No idea if this would be any good or not. Anything is up for change. I'm not sure if I got the Bonk Lord correct or not. You haven't, because he's not an Orc. Okay, so you've gone for level 4 Monkey King's Wisdom Illusion. You want to give him the Scrolls of Wei Jin to get +1 spell known. That way you've got 5 spells and you're more likely to be able to get Spectral Doppelganger. Other than that, it looks good. Then you've got the other one, Shigangan Lord. This one's your general level 2 wizard. Ooh, I'd like it to be level 3, because we're going double... Yeah, let's make this a level 3 wizard. I know you can pick the spells you want, but having that +1 to cast is pretty key, frankly. And this being the general, being the tanky one, makes a lot of sense. Very cool. Then we go Cannon. Yep. Okay. So, let's start off with the core. I'm not sold on this unit of Peasant Levy. They are T3. They have a 6-up armor save, because they have light armor, I believe. Oh, you haven't even paid for the light armor. They have no save. So, it's very, very cheap models with no save. It's 140 points that becomes 188 points when it dies to a dragon that charges them, because they've got a standard in there as well. I don't love him. I feel like if you're doing the infantry core unit, this unit of Jade Warriors, still very good. The Banner of the Bastion is the one that makes you stubborn, right? For 25 points. Shield Wall, that was it. Cool. Oh, and then you pay for stubborn here, of course. So you stubborn and shield wall. Like, this is a good defensive unit. Great. Let's remove that for now. Peasant levies with warbows and skirmish. These things are actually really fucking good. I'm a huge fan of them. I think, and here's the problem. If you are wanting to use the models in the box, and you have a very specific number of peasants, 138 points for a unit of peasant, whatchamacallums, the like a ranked up unit of peasants. Honestly, that's not bad. It's not terrible. If you are just going, I want to use the models I have, I don't want to have a million peasant archers, you can still go with that. You'll make them good. Oh, we're talking about Heralds of Darkness. Okay. I was like, you're not going to make them good. That's not how that works. What I will say is, if you really, really, really want to make this unit, like the melee unit work, I don't think it will, but I wouldn't go, like, if you're going with the restricted models that you get in the box, 2 units of, like, 14, with just, like, a unit champion, maybe, coming in the back line with ambushes, that feels better. Maybe even give them skirmish. That feels better than 1 brick of 30, because that brick of 30 is going to die very quickly, and with the banner, they're going to give it a lot of points, and they're not going to actually hold an objective very well. So if you have to use these ones, a couple of units of them with ambush is not the worst thing in the world you could do. However, that's not going to be my recommendation. My recommendation is going to be 1, 2, 3. Let's go. I guess we don't go for 4 units. No, we go for 4 units. I've seen some points we can free up. And then giving like 2 of them ambush, like this, and maybe the 2 with ambush go down to only like 12 models or something like that. And how are we doing? Yeah, not bad. How does Heralds interact with the Chaos Cults now? It seems weird. It doesn't. You can just do whatever you want with the Chaos Cults, because the characters don't have them, so there's no like overlap there. Maybe the Marauder character can have them, but you're not forced to have that. Like this in terms of scoring actually feels pretty good. You know, just holding off objectives with these things coming in the back to be annoying, or just like denying points, destroying baggage trains is solid, and you're around a similar number of points there. Then we've got this. And how many points over? We're 50 points over. I'm not convinced that these Iron Hail Gunners are good. The Crane Gunners, I think, are fine. For 64 points for what they are, for cheap drops that can just do some shooting, they're not the worst thing in the world. I don't love them, but they're not terrible. These I struggle to love, the Iron Hail Gunners. 108 points for 9 wounds. I'm not sold, frankly. I would say I'd drop them. I'd also drop the Cathayan Sentinel. But, you know, it's a centerpiece model, and often people like having that in. When I'm looking at the list building, I feel like you can get away with putting one thing in that is a bit suboptimal without making your list, like, markedly worse. It's when you start to go too heavy on it. So, like, apart from the cannons, I think all of the special you had was a bit suboptimal. These are, like, on the good side of suboptimal, but probably still not amazing. This is on probably the weak side of suboptimal, just because it's very expensive. What it brings itself is not bad, it's just you're paying a lot of points for it. And then the cannons are obviously fantastic. I think the Iron Hail Gunners are unfortunately just not going to do it. That is my gut feel on them. And that would be how I would free up the points for the unit there. Because that would then get us to 1942. We still have points here. And maybe you go something like a Gatekeeper BSB. What have you got? You've got Banner of the Bastion. What if you also just went... gave this the Banner of the Bastion, and you gave this unit the Monster Hunter Stand Tapestry. Suddenly this unit holds an objective like a motherfucker. It holds it very well. And then we just drop down to, I don't know, 15 on these. I'm not super worried about where we're at with those in terms of the specific numbers on the peasants can swap around. And then we're 29 points over, which means, how do we get there? What's the unit size on them? Minimum 3. Maybe you just go down to 2 units of 3 instead of 2 units of 4, because frankly they're not going to kill much. So having 3 instead of 4, obviously it makes them, they do 25% less damage than they were going to, or they have the theoretical of doing 25% less damage. But putting them down as like small chaff drops, they keep the same value, and they're a smaller percentage of your army. I think I would definitely get rid of this for me, but if you want to keep it in because you like it, I also think that's pretty fair. And I also put a charm shield on this model as well. So if we do that... Oh, it's going to really mess up the points. I don't know how we fix it. How do we fix it? There's not a good way to fix it. Oh god, there really isn't a good way to fix it. We also haven't given them a weapon, because you probably want to give them like a Celestial Blade, and then we're 8 points over. Jade Sentinel picking a spell is quite nice. I almost wonder it's maybe... It's not... it's Obsidian, isn't it? That's immune to multiple wounds. Nope. Granite? Oh, that's so expensive. Does make you mostly immune to wizardry. Okay, we're 8 points over, and I don't know how to fix that. I don't want... The problem is I don't want any of these 3 units in, but I'm not going to cut them because I see the purpose of them. What I will say, Phil, is this is what I would do. Maybe the Gatekeeper is not correct. Maybe that's where we just cut some points. and you don't go with this. Maybe you go for something like the Astromancer. Just level 1, you know, even just having them in the unit to provide the magic resist 1, having the dispel ability near your unit in case that matters. You could go illusion for glittering rose, something like that. That might be better. You know, you've got some options that you can go with. So in fact, let's put that in instead, and we'll go Astromancer, illusion. And then we've got more points here. And this is where I'd maybe bulk up the core again. So we go back up to like 16 on these, like so. And I did lower the number of models here, so we could go back up to... You know what? We're just going back up to 16, 16. Then I'm really just messing around here, but 15, 15 on these. That's all the tweaking I'm going to do, but hopefully it was helpful to hear the logic as I was working through, and you can tweak as you would like to do so there. And I am disappointed that it's not an orc list. Okay. Okay. Where are we up to now? We've got Bretts, we've got Demons, we've got Wolves of the Sea, we've got more Tomb Kings. Let's wrap it up with Tomb Kings. That can be the last list, because we can start with them and we can end with them. So, we've just had a good army. Good. Let's go to one of the evil armies. You are welcome, Phil. Let's look at Tom B's Demons. This is Demons for the Colchester GT, 2,500 points, no renegades. The only real comp is max 1 behemoth mount or 2 monstrous creature mounts. That's funny, because you can run as many greater demons as you like, which I think is 1 actually, because it's... Yeah, non-renegades. Okay. Immediately, this list looks fine. You know, it's demons, so it's about the best I can say. But you've gone for all of the keynotes. Skull Cannons, probably the best thing you can do with rare. Bloodthirster, pretty solid. I'm a big fan of the Blood Flail. Armor of Khorne is important in non-renegades because it gives you a ward save against any wounds suffered. All of that's great. Demon Prince, you've gone for a level 3 Tzeentch Demonology Wizard with Power Vortex Twin Heads. +1 spell known on the level 3 is an interesting choice, but I guess you're limited there. And it is cheaper than going for an extra level of casting, so okay. Then you've got a level 1 Nurgle Demon Prince with Battle Magic. I'm assuming Hammer Hand, because... Like, the Nurgle Demon spell is interesting. It's a blast template that moves in a random direction. If it hits something, it's -1 to toughness, and it doesn't say minimum of 1. So if you're doing the shenanigans, you can kill units with it. Shout out to Pip, who sent me a picture, like 18 months ago, of a unit that he'd managed to destroy completely by using Plague Wind and then some other toughness debuff spells. But I don't feel like that's what we're going for today. Then we've got the Herald of Khorne, Juggernaut of Khorne, BSB. I mean, the BSB only applies to the Khorne units. And there's no cavalry at all to keep it alive. That's what? T4, 2 wounds. Juggernaut of Khorne. P5, 3 wounds. This thing's just going to die so quickly, and it's going to give up so many points. I'm not sold this model is worthwhile. But Tom will have a specific plan for it. So, I guess it's worth testing. I don't think the Herald is correct. But hell if I know what I'd spell the points on instead. Like, I'd probably make this wizard better, and then maybe just go for a Nurgle. God, they're so expensive. So, okay, let's do this. If we make this level 3, a level 4, and then we drop this. How many points we got there? 43. Because you can go for the demonic gifts, and I can't remember which one's the best, so it's not that one. Sloppy Bilepiper gives you... Is this the movement one? +1 to movement for Nurgle is fine. Rerolling hit rolls of 1 is probably not worth the points, because you're not going to do a lot of damage. I think it might be this one that I was thinking about. Or you could go for the demonic locust, like the... This is the one that stops you from having... Okay, rerolling wounds, rotten icon. Yeah, like, Icon of Eternal Vigilance is interesting, because it's theoretical plus combat res, but because you're unlikely to do wounds with poison attacks, it's actually not that good. So maybe it's just this. But I don't think it is. So like maybe it's BSB with like Rotten Icon or something like that. I'm really struggling to find something compelling about this, honestly. So like, there's no illusion as well. If you could go illusion, that would actually be pretty nice. Ugh. It is hard. It is hard to spend points efficiently with demons. I feel like having the BSB here is maybe... you can't put the Palanquin in the unit of Plague Bearers. It's... Oh, no, you can. Sorry, it's Monsters Cavalry. Sorry, yes, you can, but it can be targeted because it's a different unit type. So you're just going to get shot off the board with this. And especially if we make it the demon, the standard bearer, it just doesn't work. I'm a big fan of musicians here, even though you're unbreakable. Mega lame. I know. I also quite like the Venom Sting on these. Just making one of their attacks a little bit better, I think, is decent. So, like this, and then we're 2 points over. Of course, we're 2 points over. We could take the musician out. Like, I feel like this I like slightly better, but I don't even like it much more. Yeah. In terms of choices, I think the Bloodthirster is correct. I think this Demon Prince is fine. Although if you're going for like a non-casting wizard, because you're only level 1, like there's an argument to maybe go for like Aetherblade or something like that, but it's very expensive and you'd have to make cuts elsewhere. Like maybe we drop the Demonic Herald and we go level 1 with Aetherblade. And then also... I don't think there's anything else on there that's worth going for. Then you've got 70 points to spend. Like, where the hell do I spend 70 points for demons in a way that doesn't just make me sad because I've just bought, like, an extra 4 Furies? Yeah. What I'm going to say is I'm going to link the timestamp for Tom, because I don't think I've got anything that I can say is better, but hopefully talking through has... gives you some, like... I don't know if I'd say it gives you some thoughts, but like I think this is worth buffing up to a level 4 so you get your spells more consistently, because it is very clearly like leaning in the direction of I'm going to do magic. I'm also tempted to say don't go demonology and instead go battle magic. I think that is probably better. Demonology, all you can get in there is Steed of Shadows is obviously very good. If you get Steed of Shadows for the unit of Plague Bearers, that gives you value. So that's something. I would probably lean it more into just trying to do damage with battle magic. Or going dark magic and trying to turn the Furies, the Plague Drones, the Bloodthirster, like soup them up with dark magic for battle lust. I don't like that particularly, but like it's more appealing to me than Demonology. This one being a level 1, give it the Aetherblade is fine. God knows what you're doing with the last 70 points. I'm so sorry that I can't be more helpful. In fact, I've left you with a 69-point problem. But I will just link the timestamp. 2 hours in discussion. If I can't come to like a good conclusion, I don't like to actually post like a bad list. I'd rather just link a timestamp to when I've talked about it, because I think that's more useful, or I hope that's more useful for the people who are looking at the, wanting feedback on their lists there. All right. We've gone good and then evil. So we're going to go back to good, and we're going to have a quick look at Alvis Thunderkegs Bretonnians. Looking to make my theme list as competitive as possible. Excellent. The theme restrictions are every knight unit must be present with full command in multiples of 5. I'm open to experimentation with the characters, banners, and magic items. Why multiples of 5? Why is that a theme? What theme is multiples of 5? Okay, I hate this. This is 4 units that will immediately lose value when they lose 1 model, and they won't kill anything. So we're going to tweak. You can't put units of Questing Knights in and not like pre-warn me. There was one person whose unit of Grail Knights I have appreciated on the tabletop. Not Grail Knights, sorry, Questing Knights. And I feel really bad I'm terrible with names. I've forgotten a name, but it was a lovely lady who I played at one of the TSN Arena events, who is a fantastic painter, and her questing nights looked amazing. Did they do anything on the tabletop? No, they were dog shit, but they looked really good. So that's the one time that I would give questing nights the pass. Not in this case. All right, we're going multiples of 5. I don't know why that's a theme, but it is a theme that we're working with. We do have to make the characters work in some way, though, because right now you're trying to make your theme list as competitive as possible. What you've got is not going to actually bring you any damage. So, if we're going for an infantry unit, I would say you probably don't want to bother with the great weapons. You just want... Oh, you want the Crusader's Vow as well. I don't hate Knights of the Realm. I think they're pretty solid. Let's go with 20 of them, because this is going to be your main scoring core unit. And even if you've modelled with them with the great weapons, just giving them hand weapons and shields, it should be absolutely fine. Then you've got a damsel with Sacrament of the Lady, and Power Scroll, and Illusion. You've gone very heavy on being able to cast a spell, when all you're going to be able to cast is, I guess, Glittering Robes, or Blessing of the Lady. I'm not sold that is worth doing. Okay. In terms of the units, you say you want to go in multiples of 5. Let's just go with 2 units of 10 Knights Errant. I don't think this is necessarily correct in terms of your numbers. So, like, if you're sitting at home going, how should I build Errant True Crusade? I'm not saying you should go 10. But 10s are not bad. 10 gives you a lot of attacks in a lance, which is pretty nice. And you can also give them, like, a war banner or something like that if you want to go down those lines. The Pegasus Knights, this loadout's good. You can probably drop the Musician. They're almost certainly not going to flee. Not almost certainly. They're very unlikely to flee, and you don't need to test a march. So this is 7 points you can just skimp on. And then the Grail Knights. I'm really tempted to go 10 Grail Knights and just say, hey, you know what? We're bringing lances. We're bringing big lances. Crusader's Clarion. +1 to the strength of the mounts. It's fine. I don't love it. I'd rather give them magic resist or something like that. I think actually giving this unit MR2 is a very solid way to do things, but we'll hold off on that for now. Banner of Shalon, to turn off Stand and Shoot. I'm on board with that. That feels fine. Okay. Sir Cecil is interesting. So Sir Cecil has a lot of rules. It's relatively tanky, but he's basically just like a Monster Slayer character. He's got Sorrow's End, which is multiple wounds 2 and Monster Slayer on a 4 attack body. So he's okay, but I don't think he does anything. If you're trying to make the list as competitive as possible, I don't think he makes it into the list. And then you've gone for the Baron, the Paladin, sorry, has gone for the Errantry Banner. So your unit of Pegasus Knights is +1 strength, +1 AP, and rerolling monster wounds. So they're going to kill stuff, which is nice. And then you've gone Shield, Crusader's Vow, Bard of Pegasus, Magic Resist, Virtue of the Impetuous Knight. This gives you extra charge range, which is quite nice. The penalty is you are impetuous. You don't care because you are, the Errantry Crusader are already impetuous. So this is solid. What you're missing are the characters that do the heavy lifting. So let's go for, at minimum, we'll go for a Duke with the... maybe we just put like 1 in. So Knightly Temper, because you're capped on points here a little bit. So Duke, Knightly Temper, Ogre Blade, and then we can also give them the Syrian's Locket, like so, which makes them immune to multiple wounds. We'll give them a shield as well. And this is just a really beefy, hitty character, and they're going to bring a lot of beef that way. Yeah. You've been feeling 3 Questing Knights could be a good delivery unit for 3 to 4 Paladins. At least you could put 2 Magical Balance in there. That's a very expensive unit that falls over very quickly. And you have to have, like, the frontage of your unit. You can only have as many characters as non-characters. So if you go 3 or even 4 Questing Knights and 3 Paladins, you're paying about 100 points per Paladin with just a lance, right? How many points is a Paladin on a horse? Paladin, 60, Warhorse, Shield, Lance. Okay, 82 points. So you're paying 82 points per. So let's say you've gone for 82 times 3. So 246 points. And then we're going to attach them to a unit of 3 Questing Knights, which is 78. You've got a 324 point unit. This, even if we're just going 3 Questing Knights, if you take 1 wound on the Questing Knights, suddenly you can't have all of your Pegasus Knights in the front rank. Your not Pegasus Knights, your Paladins in the front rank. Yeah, I don't see it personally. I wouldn't be opposed to a Paladin joining one of these units of Knights Errant, though, because then you're providing the rerolls. Because Knights Errant, it's... What is it? Is it characters? What's the... what are they called? It's not the Knight's Vow. No. What rule is it that Knights Errant have that makes them absolutely frothing whenever there's a character around them? Sorry, I'm going to have to go to... Errant... Let's have a look here. Oh, is that not how... There we go. Oh, it's Errant. Knights Errant. They have... I swear they have a rule that makes them... froth. It's not part of, like... The Blessings of the Lady? No. Am I just stupid? Earn your spurs. I knew it existed. Is it just not on here? Is it missing? Thank you, Richard. I appreciate you. Earn your spurs. Oh, because it's not on Knights Errant. It's in the Errantry Crusade. Yep. Knights, for anyone with the Grail Vow or any Lord of Bretonnia. Okay, so having a single Paladin near them would provide them with the rerolls. So honestly, having a Paladin in each unit would be pretty nice, but we're going to struggle for points. Maybe, can we fit one in? Shield, Lance, or Horse, and then we cut points from the Damsel. And we just say, honestly, a 60-point damsel is pretty fucking money. Like, I'm a big fan of just having the damsel. And then we're 6 points under. Yeah, like, this feels fine. Because we're just going to be casting Glittering Robes with this anyway, so... Yeah, why not? What can we do with 6 points? I think the Pegasus Knight, 7 points for the Musician. So it's probably just... It could be like a Charm Shield, but I don't think it is. Discipline... Yeah, fine. That's fine. Like, I'm not super in love with those last 5 points, but they're just kind of whatever. The Errants were supposed to... Ah! Richard, this is you. Okay. The Errants were supposed to babysit the Foot Knights with Cecil in them. What do you picture them beating, though, is the problem. So 15 Knights of the Realm probably... like on foot, probably die pretty quickly, and then the 5 Knights Errant don't actually add that much to the combat, and yeah, I'm not sold on them. Also, what's the theme? What is the theme? The theme is 5 because you couldn't fit units of 6. Is that it? Is that the theme? I'm a little bamboozled if that is the theme. Also, like, I don't love this unit of 5, but going to 10 is probably... It's paint job related. Ah, okay. Okay. Have you got 5 heraldry schemes that you go with? Is that the theme? Yeah. I think this looks... Within the restrictions you've gone for, this is about as good. But general, like, advice for making good Bretonnian lists, you want ideally 2 characters, so like the Duke and then also a Baron. One with Cackling Blade, one with Ogre Blade and Knightly Temper. That's like the easy way to make a Bretonnian list good. That's where a lot of the juice comes from. And then the Paladin's nice to have as well. Okay. Let's go. Boom. What have we got next up? Let's have a look at... Oh, I said I was going to leave the Tomb Kings to last, so let's look at Wolves of the Sea. So, Fingal says, trying to develop a diffuse list just to keep objective points and give chances Demon Prince to charge. No, that is what it says. Okay. I was worried I was having a stroke for a second. Sure. Okay, what are we looking at here? So you've got a Demon Prince with Ogre Blade, Brazen Collar, Favor of the Gods. No spell casting. I'd be tempted to make it at least a level 1. I know points are tight on that, so maybe you can't, but having it as a level 1 so you can dispel if you're up close would be nice. But yeah, I don't know how you do that. Also, it's an undivided Chaos Demon Prince, which feels a little odd, but I guess it is possible. Then you've got a level 1 Infernal Puppet Demonology Caster. Sure. I'm not sold on like the cheap Infernal Puppet character in modern Old World. But it's not bad, it's just like limited because of the shorter range. Maybe it does it. Exalted Champion with Dragon Meteoric Iron. Okay, so I would say first note, the armor save, like you can go Meteoric Iron, which gives you a slightly better armor save against AP, but you've got a 4-up save from the full plate of the dragon. That becomes a 6-up save against most stuff in the game. Like most, obviously cannons are better, but most things that do, have AP are AP2. The things that you're worried about, mostly AP2 or the cannons. I would rather go Brazen Collar, because the thing that worries me the most about a dragon is that it gets one-rounded by Viletide. It's not that I have to dodge the cannonballs, because I can kind of fly around and avoid them. It's really hard to fly around and avoid the, not the cannonballs, the whatchamacallums, the Viletides. I'd also like a second Favor for the Gods. We haven't got points for it. Okay. I always want 2, because otherwise the second you have to use your 1 reroll, you want to stop rolling on the table, which feels a bit rough. So, these characters are fine. Then we've got Core. 20 Marauders, full command. Nope, this doesn't work. This does not work. The wearer gains move through cover and scouts. This does not apply to the unit, so you can't scout this unit, unfortunately. Monster Hunter Tapestry is fine. Musician. I wouldn't even bother with flails. Infantry units, especially like strength 3 ones, aren't going to do a huge amount of damage. You're not going to get the charge very often. So having a weapon that's better on the charge on this unit isn't going to get you very far, in my opinion. And then Unnatural Fortitude on there is good as well. So mostly there, but let's just tweak it up a little bit. And I like the Monster Hunter Tapestry on this unit as well. Then you've got MR2 Skirmishing Marauder Horsemen with flails. Yeah, these two look good. They're little missiles that run around and they're hard for your opponent to deal with. And then all of these, I like all of these as well. I'd be really tempted to give them ambushes. You're not necessarily deploying them in ambush every turn or every game, but having the flexibility to put them down is really nice. Especially if someone's got like a dragon, because if you put these on the board in ambush, your opponent can just bait you, like get a charge. You put your dragon down. Oh, sorry, you put your unit down. They put a dragon 6 inches away from you or whatever. You have to charge them because of frenzy. You make it in. They beat you in combat, they test a restrain, they turn to face the thing they want to charge, and jobs are good. So, frenzy can be a real downside, and it's how I typically beat Wolves of the Sea when I play against it with dragons. And then these are interesting. I don't have a strong opinion on them, honestly. I think I would say you don't want a unit champion in there, because you don't want to be, like, half of your attacks to be challenged out. But I think it's an interesting thing to try. I'd be curious to see how it goes. I'd like to see more of this. Because these are cheap. And obviously you've got Skirmish, you've got Swift Stride, you can't be countercharged. So you can... They're kind of an annoying little unit to run around and do something with. So yeah, I think the choices you've gone for are interesting. And they're mostly pretty solid across the board. Again, as always, 2 dragons is better than not doing 2 dragons, but if you don't want to that many dragons, I think the choices you've made are pretty interesting. Yeah, so we've got 38 points, 2 3s. I think I like 2 2s more, actually. Because you're not short on being like, oh, okay, actually you are kind of short on big threats. I still think I like the 2 2s, because then you can run them around and try and combo them with like a Demon Prince or something. So maybe that's the goal, to have them soak challenges for the Demon Prince. And the dragon. which does make it so that they're worth having the unit champions. That gives you a lot of flexibility. All right, you've convinced me. And then we've got here, maybe we just go +1 Berserker like that. And we've got 5 points remaining, like a Charmed Shield here, something like that. Like this feels pretty solid. But, yeah. Interesting. I like the Skin Wolves. I do like the Skin Wolves. Okay. Finally, we've got Ben's Tomb King list. So, Ben says, the Prince and the BSB join the Chariot, Dragon and X-Sphinx roam around while I use a big block of skeletons supported by the Casket. Necropolis Knights, just because I love the models, may be able to clear chaff or help with flank charges. I'm not a big fan of a Casket of Souls here, because the important thing is going to be the Death Star and the Bone Dragon moving up, and you're not going to be in range of the light protection very easily. And often you won't be having the reserve move anyway, because you're building your list around reserve moves. So you don't need to have a wizard to cast reserve move, right? So with that in mind, I'd say let's just drop the Casket of Souls, and let's go for a second Necrosphinx. Like, I think this plays more to the list play style in in a way that's strong. And also, let's go double ambushes on the Tomb Scorpions as well, because the ambushes, it allows you to keep drops low. It's just generally good. Do they have ambush as well? No, it's not the Necropolis Knights. It's the Sepulchral Stalkers that can ambush. Okay, so now we're dropping the amount of models that we have to have on the table for drops, and we are 70 points over, which is a little bit of a problem, but we can try and find some points somewhere. So you've got Talisman of Protection. Cool. So just a cheap and cheerful general on a chariot. Then you've got a Prince with the Flail of Skulls, and you've got a Royal Herald with Cav Spear, Light Armor Shield. Okay. Okay. I think, like, Flail of Skulls is fine, but it's honestly not that exciting. You don't have that many attacks. You've only got 3 attacks, so this is not actually doing all that much for you. For 35 points, I don't consider it to be a weapon that's going to get you a lot of value. Even just a great weapon, I think, for the 4 points, is just going to probably be better. I'd be tempted to give him something defensively as well, but I'm not 100% sure where. And then maybe we swap the Warding Splint over to this dragon. I know that makes your armor save slightly worse. We'll give you a shield so that you can still have the same 4-up save against shooting. And then you only have a 5-up save in combat. But then on the flip side, we can go for the Royal Herald, which is there to tank wounds for the Prince. And we can give them the Armor of Meteoric Iron and the Talisman of Protection. There we go, like so. Chariot, everything else is good. We don't need a shield, and Great Weapon is just better. We don't need the Cav Spear. BSB, it's a shame not to have something on the BSB. Good point about the skirmisher, the sorcerer not being able to join the horses. Yes, I'd missed that. One of the units is going to have to be open order. That's true. From the last list. Okay. Great. So we've got the Skeleton Chariots, Totem of Wrath. Oh, we want the Icon of Rakath. That's the way to make the entire list tick. So we need to go Icon of Rakath here. And now we've got the unit's going to run around and do its shenanigans where it kills stuff and it overruns and everyone's happy. Then this unit, let's give this unit the Banner of the Desert Winds, because we're probably not going to have a wizard to res. Or, sorry, we're not going to have a reserve move wizard, because one of these could do it, theoretically, but most of our stuff has fly or reserve move already, so if we just give this unit reserve move, it solves that problem super easily. And then we can drop models down to 30 to shave some points there. In terms of what we've got, we just don't need 2 Mortuary Priests, I think. Let's just drop one of them. And go... I think Illusion is just generally the best choice to go for a single wizard. I don't mind level 2. It's not the end of the world to do so. And then we've got to drop something. I would drop the Necropolis Knights and add an extra Tomb Scorpion. But you've said you specifically like them. Let's make sure we've got the Necropolis Captain, because the Captain's got a great weapon as well, which is pretty neat. So I guess the way we do it is we drop like one Tomb Scorpion, and they're at 1981, and we can just add a few more models like that. And yeah, I think this list, has some really interesting potential. I'd be curious to see it played out more. Again, I think the Tomb Guard version, not the Tomb Guard Chariots, just the Tomb Guard in general version is better. But I don't think it's bad. I think it's just, you know, we can do other stuff. Oh, I don't know which Ben it was, because there are too many Bens. Too many Bens on the Discord. Too many Bens. Let me scroll up here. Ben says, for the priority, how do you see that we are subscribed to the channel? You have to post in need role to get the role. I see someone's posted in need role, so you may have noticed to do that. But I just saw that. I think it's this Ben. At least I hope it's this Ben. Apologies. I know this is riveting cinema to watch me staring up at my screen that's all the way up there. Is this the right Ben? It is the right Ben. Boom. All right. Job's good. And perfect. Lovely stuff. Okay. Great. Well, there was another evening of fixing of some lists. Some interesting ones here. I'm liking that people aren't just submitting the same stuff. There was a run into like sort of the back end of November, start of December, where it was feeling a little bit samey every week. I'm liking the experimenting that people are doing. I think it's fun. And even if it's breaking my brain to look at like 2,500 of demons or whatever it might be, it is nice to have a bit of variety. But nailed it. I do like to try and hit about 2.5 hours, just because that's a good amount of time, and then I get to go to bed or do something with my evening. So it's been lovely to see you all. Hope you all have a good weekend. I'm going to go see my family, and I'll catch you all on the flip side. No podcast on Tuesday. I'll have to arrange something else, because Lewis has told me he's busy, because he is a bastard man. All right, later all.